This public notice is to make the tribe's membership, the general body, aware that the U.S. corporation is no more. The Vatican control of the earth is no more. The Buckingham Palace and its related so-called royal families are all gone. The matriarch is on the return and on the rise, and in here, for all of the clans collective across the land, I'm going to give y'all some information that y'all can use to accelerate this process and to be involved at some level or another. So we need the three kings walking. That's Angel Bay, Larry Hoover, Big Tookie, to come forth and bring the communication to the people so that the people can know that the tribes have this under wraps and that we are in control of our faculties. Our ability to run government is intact. Our process of raising the matriarchy is in full swing. The only remaining thing is to create a database of matriarchs across the land, which is our clan mothers that have been already doing the work. And a good example for you to know what I'm talking about when I say doing the work, Chief Warhorse is a perfect example of a clan mother that's been doing the work. She got the paperwork to prove it. She's been dealing with the political side of the legal fiction, and she's now about to be, her skill set is about to be needed with the matriarchs as far as how she's been working with the government and how they've been systematically usurping the people, and they have gave us no recourse. Another good example is Hydia Barble of the goddess Glow Up, an excellent example of a clan mother. She does her goddess Glow Up, which is a healing circle for sisters to heal without distinction for race, political affiliation, or social standing in the community. Healed women heal women, and the work that she's been doing will be able to be expanded upon and supported by the matriarchy so that her effectiveness is increased and the positive impact to the sisterhood is also increased, and it also serves as a way to help mothers to not get trapped in caregiver syndrome, where they're so busy taking care of their family that they end up neglecting their own health, and causes us to lose many mothers earlier than we need to lose them. They're getting caught in caregiver syndrome because they're single-handedly handling what we used to do with the sisterhood. Sisters born in the same family used to raise all of their children together, even though they lived separate lives, and then they would use each other's resources to take all of the burden and allow for the women to have constructed breaks from being the only caregiver in the home, to allow the father's time with the children as the primary caregiver, while the mother go to her retreat at the goddess Glow Up and be able to receive the self-care, the recovery time, and the ability to be with like-minded sisters just focused on healing, so that that energy can be spread throughout the whole of the planet. Another good example is Professor Bayeno Bayello, who is a Haitian historian who passionately speaks about the Haitian Revolution and the actors in the Haitian Revolution that allowed us to find the bloodlines required to close out the Haitian revolutionary conjure that was an assistant conjure to the Gullah Wars. And if you look at the conclusion of the Haitian Revolution and the migration patterns from the island, you'll see that they migrated to two places. The priestesses went to New Orleans to reinforce the conjure with the root working women of the ENO. The men, they in turn went to fight in the Gullah Wars in Florida. So you find a large influx of Haitian immigrants during the Gullah Wars, migrating to Florida at the conclusion of the Haitian Revolution, while Dessalines was reorganizing the clans. The war conjure was still open, so the warriors, being at thirst for blood, had to find the nearest battlefield that they can support and vent that energy, right? So all of these things are walked back, reverse engineered, took everything that they threw at us, and we turned it around and exposed it to the public. From their blood conjure rights at the blood of Crispus Attucks, writing the secondary constitution that was held in the George Washington Memorial, to the feathers versus the fezzes in the George Washington Challenge, the fezzes of the Shriners who was involved, is all kept in the fez display in the George Washington Memorial Museum. Those things are critical to the verification of what happened on the land. The Liberty Bell, the crack, being the signature of Enlil as the god of the sky, god of thunder, and his assertion of jurisdictional supremacy on the land while none of the high chiefs was present. The next thing that we went over was how all of the clans was called from all parts of the world, from the Samoan Islands, the Tongan Islands, the Hawaiian Islands. We were called from New Zealand, from Australia, from South America, from Central America, from Alaska, from Canada, all across America. We was all called to come give aid and assistance to fight the Gullah Wars in opposition of the Spanish Armada. Everything that we've done to date has been to undo what was done and what was done to us. Now we at the part where the government is present and the matriarchy is moving in the position to be of service and to serve the people of the land without distinction of race, creed, color, or philosophical background. All of the destructive doctrines of religion, you can keep your doctrine, but send your tribal mother to tie into the collective of tribal mothers. They are currently forming a database. This database is to serve as the structural building instrument to tie the matriarchs or clan mothers across the land so that they're all on the same page. They can be well informed one to another. And it's the restoration of what we used to call our old book of life, where all of the matriarchs was in there. And if you was under her clan, that's how you got to be in the book of life. It's the book of eternal life, because it's through this book, in the life that you live, do we know when you're coming back, if you're coming back to the same bloodline, or if the crisis of the era may be significant to be born across clans in order to complete the restoration. At this point, we at the opening of a new age, and we have closed out all old things, and now all things must be made new in an old way. That new old way is the return of the originals, as Empress Verdiasi Tierra Gostinel Bay once said. It's the return of the ancient ones. All of this is important to the clans to know, because it's with their efforts and their support to the return of us, the original organic people of the earth, and specifically the Americas, to return what was rightfully ours by birthright and by blood right, and by our works and our deeds that shows that we're worthy and capable enough to maintain our own affairs, whether it be politically, socially, economically, educationally, whether it's in entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, or health. We are functional, we are operational, and all of the clans must be aware that in order for this to work, we have to all find a common ground to come to unity, and that common ground to date is called the Great Law. If we all return to the great law, we all return to the same page, and we all can be participants in this redemption process and restoring the original inhabitants of Turtle Island to their original position as sovereigns over the land that they are born from. We are one with the earth. The part of the earth that the clans of the Americas of Turtle Island are the ones who are responsible for the regaining of political control and the reallocation of resources across the land to the collective clans so that they can live their best life and to revamp their educational programs with tribal rope programs, which is rites of passage education, which is different from your see-look method of teaching and learning. That's an indoctrination process. We don't want our children indoctrinated. We don't want them trained to be your laborers and your burden bearers. We want each one of our children to choose their own life path. And we, as the parents and the adults in the society, will from this point forward give them the tools required for them to construct a future according to their character and personality and their current mindset as they naturally are, not how we want them to be. We're going to be returning the caregiving of the children back to the big mamas, where the big mamas come together, have a big ass house, and when the women and the men got to go do labor functions for the clan that they part of, there would be a group of women there with the mothers to oversee the children. The men will be instructed on how to form rites of passage for the boys in leadership classes. We need Big Meech. We need Big Meech because Big Meech is the prince trainer. He is the one responsible for teaching the boys how to live with opulent wealth without being consumed by selfishness and greed. He's experienced in teaching them. He was doing it before they arrested him, and he's going to go back to training them if he chooses to once he's liberated. That skill set cannot be taught by anybody. You have to be endowed with that skill set from Prime Creator and Source. So we would like for Big Meech to be willing to come and to educate the boys on how to live with this opulent wealth they're about to receive, where it doesn't go to their head. It doesn't cause families to fall apart. It don't cause for people to have to selfishly grab their little piece of the pie and run off in the corner. It's enough for all of us to eat. So we need to say free Big Meech under the banner of Free Larry Hoover, the same as is Free Angel Bay. Under the banner of Free Larry Hoover, the same as is Free Malachi York. Under the banner of Free Larry Hoover, the same as Free Imam Abu Jamal Al-Amin, which is the same as Free Larry Hoover. When we say Free Larry Hoover, we mean free all political prisoners. We mean restore the tribes back to their original status before the settlers came in 1492, the pre-Columbian era, which brings us to a post-Columbus era, where we are no longer bound by their treaties and contracts and their artificial paperwork used to usurp our jurisdictional supremacy as the caregivers of the land. We will no longer acknowledge any of their corporate fictions, and it is now the responsibility of the continuity of government program to bring to the awareness of the collective the actual events, so that the collective is aware of the transition of power that's taking place in real time without the confusion of the media that's been controlled by CIA and other nefarious forces involved in media control. No longer will we be subject to those false and misleading news reports. We are now about to see new reporters that's going to be coming out to report the truth, and all of those who were agents of the legal fiction will be removed from television so that the real truth can be delivered to the people in a digestible format based on their ability to comprehend it. The scripts have been all exposed. We know who the frauds are. We know who the actual actors are. So now it's time for us to return back to tribal ways and to restore the land, air, and the water back to its pristine state, because none of the water was poisoned before they came. You could drink anywhere water was. None of the land was poisoned. Wherever you dropped the seed, it was going to grow there. None of the air was poisoned because we wasn't flying across the sky spraying chemtrails to toxify the air in order to stranglehold the original inhabitants and try to slowly kill them by the attrition method. All that's done. We are done with that. So now we are about to see continuity government activate certain people that's going to be bringing more information to the forefront than we have been being exposed to in the recent past, in order for us to go on and burrow through this thing, or should I say burst through this thing, and arrive in 2025 prepared for the celebration. We are low on time in order to have a strong and functional infrastructure for the plans that we have for the future and for this great celebration of 2025, return of the matriarchy and the final independence of the people who was held in reprisal for a debt we didn't owe. So that's the public service announcement.
I'm doing real good. I'm doing good, real good. Good to hear and speak to you. But I have a
Thank you. I
question.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. I guess it's considered in the political area. With because I have a home my parents had, but I had family living in it and it went into foreclosure. So with that, I'm in California. So being in California, I've been hearing these attorneys, they rip you off. And I really believe I just dealt with it. I just dealt with it because I had someone to help me. Um um
Listen,
Go
listen.
ahead, go ahead.
In the situation where we fighting mortgages from banks, keep
Hmm.
y'all records. If you
Okay.
don't have the records of your fight, you you can't prove you was fighting this enemy.
Mm.
Anybody who put up a valiant fight against this enemy and can show their work will be compensated for it. Everybody gonna be compensated at fault.
Hmm.
Even if you thought the right way to fight was to go into the legal system and try to fight for what was yours, which that
Yeah.
don't work because it's not our legal system. It's the legal system of a foreign agency.
Oh.
So anytime we write, the odds are stacked against us 100 to 1. When we
Hmm.
wrong, we are more likely to come out successful than if we right,
Oh,
because their
okay.
system
Now
is predicated up on supporting the dirt and not liberating the righteous. Okay?
and I hear it's real bad in Cali. It's so bad. It's
It's
bad
bad
there.
all over. You gotta
Okay.
remember,
Okay.
they took all of the land from our grandparents in the early 1900s going into the 1800s through sharecropping agreements. And
Yeah.
they did everything they could to force the default, from burn down the farms to run off the fathers out the house at gunpoint, trying to kill them if they don't lynch them, just so that they can default on the sharecropping agreement. Because we
Yeah.
didn't believe in selling land, they had to use a deceptive strategy and tactic to wrestle
Hmm.
the land from the natives, because don't none of us believe in that. To us,
Hmm.
selling the land is the same as selling your mother or your child,
I
right?
see. Uh-huh.
And so, but they will sell us, their parents and their children, and won't have any remorse. And we will hurt somebody about our parents and our children. This is the easiest way to tell the difference in them and us.
Yeah, true. remember
They
all that.
value the fiat currency. We value the actual relationships one to another where we can aid and assist and support each other just in the name of love.
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe in that. They believe that that's being a pushover. And
Okay.
that if you kind-hearted like that, that they obligated to take advantage of you until they can dirty up your heart.
That's what it looked like she did. Oh, bitch. Oh, okay. I'm just being real. And then she, she wouldn't let me contact her. And every time you contact her, she would charge you. I didn't know that. I didn't know they charge you every time you speak. But I hadn't even spoke to her but twice. And then the assistant called me, and I had to write her back and said, "You sent your dogs," instead of calling her what I thought. "You sent your dogs at me. I don't know why you trying to contact me now. You done took it. You done hired somebody. And now, now I got to figure out what else I'm going to do." But,
That was the lawyer you talking about?
yeah, the attorney, yeah,
Do you
that
know who they work
attorney.
for? They don't
Yeah, I
work
got
for you.
the company. I got the company
No,
name and
no, no, no,
everything.
no,
And
no,
they,
no, no.
okay,
That's
okay.
a point of origin who they work for.
I guess I have to look that one up.
Okay,
Origins? Okay.
I'm gonna walk you through it so that when you look it up, it's gonna be easy for you to track what I'm saying.
Okay.
Every attorney, prosecutor, and judge is a member of the bar.
All right. And I heard that was already no more with Empress. She spoke of
Right. The,
that.
the bars, all of these bar members are foreign agents. I'm about to get to that part. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Now, all bar associations is tied to what's known as the American Bar Association that was headquartered in DC.
Uh-huh.
They
DC.
The American Bar Association exists on a charter of the Savannah Bar Association that was chartered by King George III in 1863.
Mm.
One of my Instagrams, my Morpheus Mysticus pages, has the charter. And in the charter, the attorney's job is to steal whatever they can from us in any way they can steal it. It's in the charter.
Mm-hmm.
It's not perturbedly, it's not made up. It's in the charter that when King George chartered them, he told them that their job was to wrestle the resources from the people of the land, which is us,
Uh-huh.
and to put it in the holdings of the crown. That's their job,
That's who?
right? That's the job of all lawyers,
Oh,
judges, and
snaps.
prosecutors. Now,
Okay.
the Emancipation Proclamation never freed a slave, first and
Okay.
foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Emancipation means to allow you to roam freely, what they call manumission, meritorious manumission. Declaration
Mm-hmm.
mean they said it out loud,
Okay.
right?
We
So they
know they got to do
said
that.
that you can walk off the plantation now. They didn't say the war was over. Because in
Uh-huh.
order to free the slaves in truth, they would have to actually end the war. The
Okay.
war wasn't over until July the 4th, 2019.
Mm. Okay. I didn't know that much. July
Right.
4th. Okay.
While
Mm.
the war was going on, we were obligated to learn the legalese and
Mm-hmm.
become nationals or gain a nationality in order to effectively navigate the nature of the contract,
Mm.
right? This
Yeah.
goes back to Noble Drew Ali discovered it in 100 years ago. He said the nationality is the order of the day. Because once you was able to draw from a nationality, you can now gain control of the contract that you don't know you under. But by
Mm.
taking control of your national status gave you the information that you needed in order to know the nature of the contract.
Okay.
right?
Mm.
Now, 100 years later, nationality expires with all legal fictions in maritime and admiralty jurisdictions. That's
Okay. Yeah, I heard about that.
those are the laws that govern the high seas. Those are not the laws that is supposed to be applied on land.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But during the time of war, when the territory is occupied, the
Yeah.
admiralty jurisdiction becomes the salvage keepers, which means they're responsible for salvaging and going over the loot that's been pillaged from the nation that was at war, and to make
Mm-hmm.
an accounting for it so that the king who sent them know what he's receiving from the occupied territory annually,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
This is why they had what's called tax season.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Tax season is economically corralling the financial laborers into a time frame to make bookkeeping more simple.
Hmm.
If you get it all done in a month period, you don't have to drag it out for the rest of the year. You can then go about looking for which ones are using the system correctly to overcome the contract of debt.
So where exactly
Those
would I
who
need to
were
go?
So those who were learning how to override the debt system and become wealthy
Yeah.
became targets for the IRS and tax agents, which is a private collection agency. Also, this one is chartered out of Switzerland. And
Mm.
the IRS pay the dividend taxes that's collected to the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund to maintenance the central banking network. They,
All right.
they do not use tax dollars of anybody over here to do infrastructure or run government.
Uh-huh.
The
Uh-huh.
only thing they use is debt instruments to finance the running the government that they supply out of printing it up themselves.
Hmm.
And then they leverage those oil producing nations under OPEC and Aramco to back the fiat with the oil for the appearance of being backed by substance. But
Okay.
really, it wasn't the fiat, the oil that was backing the fiat. It was the fiat regulating the price of the oil.
Mm.
So now, on the redemption side of it, we seized everything that was ours. And up on inspection of the books, it was all ours.
All right.
So
See.
since it was all ours, we seized everything. So your records become your proof that you fought the beast in the way that you knew how. And then when they see in the Esquire on your paperwork, one of them people call themselves attorneys, it's an
Mm-hmm.
automatic conflict of interest to be settled in the favor of the damaged party, which is you.
Okay.
Because you can't have a bar attorney that goes to a bar attorney to tell another bar attorney what to do. They all on the same page. Ain't
Yeah.
none of them
Mm-hmm.
working for us.
Mm-mm. Even the
They
court
expose
system.
themselves. They expose themselves in the carrying of the titles of nobility, which is prohibited by the state and by the federal government. Article in the first article of the U.S. Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. Constitution was not to govern the people. It was used for the people to govern the government.
Hmm.
But when they switched to constitutions, they changed our perception of the function of the instrument. So
Yeah.
now the people are no longer holding the government to the task. The government is oppressively browbeating the people into submission with policy enforcers that's also chartered out of London, England, that we call the police,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Our sheriffs are are supposed to be elected officials. They are not supposed to ever be appointed because they're supposed to be put in as a system of checks and balance between the law enforcement division of the corporation that's occupying the territory and the people who the corporation wished to take advantage of. The buffer was supposed to have been the sheriffs. When the
Yeah.
police got out of line, you were supposed to be able to call the sheriff to solve the matter.
Okay.
They do that no more because the uniform system of the uniform commercial system and the miseducation of the people got the people that's performing the function of the sheriff of the land actually working for the same people that the policy enforcers is working for now. But it's still
So
an
they
elected
all in it.
position.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's still an elected position, and the sheriff can be called to be replaced at any time by the county as long as the people choose to replace them with one that worked for the people. They know by the sheriff that's in office and the communication between the community and the deputies which kind of sheriff is in office. Most of them was put up to run for office by people that was other law enforcement agents. Like
I
the
believe that.
police of the local cities might put up their homeboy. Hey, you don't need to be a beat cop. We need you to go run for sheriff. You
See.
charismatic. You got a nice smile. The people believe everything you saying.
See.
And they put
I'll be
all of
damned.
their dirty players in every one of the offices.
Sad, but I see it's changing. I see.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm bringing it up to you because I was wondering what in the hell can I do, because I don't know. I got peace. I'm not pissed off. I wanted to cuss the bitch out. I did. But you know what? I just said, you know what? I'm going to let the universe take care of it because I already know judgment coming to her ass. But I wanted to
Listen,
understand. Go ahead.
Judgment Day is over. They are
Mm.
about to burn, so to speak.
Snaps. Wow. Okay. Okay. All
The
right.
people gonna first be confused because the people, a lot of them don't know what I'm talking about, and that I'm trying to have them prepared. So when they see the National Guard, they know that they under the direction of the tribes. They're not under the direction of the political government.
Mm.
The
Okay.
military is now under the control of the tribes out of the Raven Rock, Colorado continuity of government with the tribes of the land,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people are unaware of that. So when they start seeing these National Guard troops showing up, they're gonna panic a little bit because of the diet woke people keep telling them that we about to get invaded by somebody and all this, the scare tactics that they're using, so they'll be good and saturated with fear by the time the National Guard step up to take control of the land,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Now they're going to be systematically teaching us how to police our own communities
Mm-hmm.
and how to solve problems locally before you need a broader reach of government to be intervening in your business. That's like you and your husband at home arguing and one of your kids called a family reunion and put y'all on speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't want to be on speaker. Y'all won't have to go answer to the whole goddamn family. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can answer to the big mama and auntie, but goddamn, the whole family hear this shit.
Okay.
We don't want the
Damn.
whole family. Then some of the people in the family were wishing bad on you so bad that your shit don't go right just to hear you arguing. You don't even want them to have the satisfaction of knowing it was an argument in your
Okay.
house.
That's true.
You
That's true.
know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's the same way with them people. You know, put their ass on blast.
Mm-hmm.
I've been dragging all their dirty laundry out for 5 years, but people thought I was crazy at first. Now they see.
Well, good, because she needs to see, because, she haven't got the memo yet. I'm so what you're saying, you think I shouldn't do anything, just wait, or just sit and wait? I mean, just sit or do something about it. Go to the charter bar, you're saying?
Listen, if you feel like you know a course of action that you may be able to benefit from,
Hmm.
step on it. That's the one you do. If
I'm
you
such a fighter. I didn't want to do this shit,
but
but
look,
it laid in my lap.
if
So,
if you don't think if you don't think you see an avenue in which you can get proper relief,
hmm,
just keep your records and keep fighting however you know how. Your
okay.
records, when Big Mama say, for all of the ones who've been fighting this enemy for your property, we
Hmm.
need y'all to go to the small business administrator so y'all can see a counselor. The
Okay.
counselor is going to be an assessor of what you was fighting for, who you was fighting, what kind of representation you had, what kind of representation they had, right?
Hmm.
What kind of
Yeah.
fiduciary oversaw the process? They all foreign agents.
Okay. Yeah. If it's
So
from another country, yeah.
once it's discovered that all foreign agents and you was the only organic person to the land in the complaint because they all had an allegiance to a foreign agency, Big Mama gonna say pay her whatever she was asking for in that fight.
Mm.
And it's not
Okay.
coming
Okay.
from them. It's gonna be coming from us cleaning up the shit that these other people left behind.
Hmm.
Make sure
Okay.
everybody is properly compensated. I got a brother man up in Flint. He from same area in Chicago as me in the Crenshaw district, and the same first name as mine, Rodney.
Okay.
He got his family's been fighting this government for almost 300 years, and he got all the records.
Mm. Mm.
He gonna
Okay.
be easy to settle his claim fast because he have all the records. But some of the other people, we got to give them a record researcher to go down with their family to pull records that they don't even know the family's supposed to know about.
Mm. Okay.
Right?
I'm
So
go. I may
we have to,
know. Yeah, I may
yeah,
know, but where would I need to pull the records at? I might know, but I'm just asking a question because I might not.
uh, it depends on where you at because some places kept them in libraries, some kept them in courthouses, and some
Okay.
have what's called a hall of records. Right?
Okay.
So once we figure out where we from, we know what
Hmm.
type of records location to look. But
Okay.
remember, they burned down a lot of courthouses and libraries to destroy a lot of our records on purpose. They did it. It wasn't an accident. But in the
Mm. Okay.
history books and the newspaper, it's always some corny cause for the fire that doesn't make sense.
But you think they still did that? I mean, even today, I mean,
Well,
and you
your
still
records
think,
can only go back until they burn to where they burned up at. From
oh,
there on, you got a whole new set of records. You don't have the records that got burnt up.
okay.
You
Okay.
can't pull it unless somebody in your family had duplicates.
Hmm. Okay.
Now, a lot of Mississippians and people from the dark thicket woods of Alabama and Louisiana have records where the copies got burned up in the courthouse, but they kept the
Hmm.
copies in a
Oh,
family chest. That's what a lot of us had a family chest. One of our uncles had a footlocker in the attic full of paperwork and books.
okay.
Right? A lot of us don't know about it. Some people it was their grandfather, some people it was their grandmama. But those were records that they was keeping because they family records that help in the restructuring and retracing where we came from, and we can get back to our actual bloodline if we
Yeah.
choose to.
All right.
But we're going to be coming up with new names for our tribes. We're not going to be using all of the ones they gave us, and
Mm.
almost all of the ones we see now they gave us. Those
Hmm.
are exonyms of the organic tribes of the land that the settlers used to draw paperwork up in our name.
You mean like child Choctaw, because I know that's what I am. Choctaw, Cherokee.
The
You know, my
right,
mother Choctaw.
right,
Yeah.
Choctaw is a mispronunciation. It's an English pronunciation of Chata. And
Oh.
the Louisiana, the French pronounce it Chata like it's supposed to be pronounced. But as you move toward the East Coast and you get more into the territory controlled by the English,
Mm-hmm.
then it changes from Chata to Choctaw.
Mm-hmm.
And then they
Okay.
write it different. Now it look like you two different tribes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
then we had tribal groupings where we made agreements among tribes trying to help us figure out how to solve this problem. These agreements is manifesting now in the lives of the descendants of those who made the agreement.
Mm.
In order to reclaim our birthright, we probably was promised to marry somebody, right? We don't know who we supposed to marry, but the ancestors will create the conditions so at the close of the age when you wake up, you be with the person that they promised their parents or whoever they made the agreement with that you would marry.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're like, how the hell that happened? I'm your soulmate. No, you ain't. You my ancestor. Your ancestors plotted this shit 1,300 years ago. Here I am with you. I ain't mad,
That's funny.
but now I see,
Okay.
but across those tribes, um, the chiefs learn how to read the energy, and we can read the different tribes have different cultures. Different tribes had different marital rights,
Okay.
right? You had monogamous tribes, you had polygamous tribes, you had um, polygynous tribes, and polyandry tribes, but they were all different tribes. You had
Mm-hmm.
tribes where we sent guys you have these particular class of women that got a knack that know how to soothe raging men. And she might have to have 5 or 6 of them so she can use the rest of them to keep the one in line. And then before you know it, they all in line. They training these men to be husbands, right?
You mean right now?
But they
Are you
don't.
just saying late
No,
earlier?
this is one of the tribal customs that was on the land before the settlers came. I was just going
Oh.
over it with you.
Oh. Okay. All right. I
Right.
see.
Then you have those tribes who was monogamous. They one man, one woman stayed together. They didn't care what happened. You wasn't breaking them up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you had different marital rituals that different tribes used.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the Maori tribes use tattoo rituals where when the son get of a certain age, he'll get a tattoo. He might get something to indicate who his wife gonna be from the other tribe over there and who her father is. And it'll be clues to her bloodline and his tattoos. Just the
Mm.
premise of a wedding. Those are ancient ways. Most
Mm-hmm.
of it is gone now,
Yeah.
but we play out a modern interpretation of the ancient ritual.
Mm. I'll be glad they come back. I'm not lying because these fools here,
Well, the
no
problem is
respect. No respect.
when you legislate a thing, the most people should benefit from it. But
Mm-hmm.
some stuff you got to leave to the legislation of the local area because the custom is different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can't force one culture on all of the clans. That's why I keep telling everybody that it was probably some Moors over here, but we wasn't all Moors that was here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This is how we know the difference between the ones we call righteous Moors and the ones we call
Mm-hmm.
dirty Moors. A lot of righteous Moors have lost favor with me because they believe when I talk about the dirty Moors that I'm blanketing all Moors.
Mm-hmm. I've
That's
heard them.
not what I'm doing. that don't even make sense when I'm quoting Noble Drew Ali, C. Freeman Hill, right? Taj Tariq Bey, Hakeem Bey. I'm quoting these Moorish elders because they gave us some information that y'all need to pay attention to. Y'all must didn't listen to Noble Drew Ali when he said get a good Moorish education, because you would
Right.
know the difference in me calling out dirty Moors and that this is part of the redemption of the Moorish Science Temple that Noble Drew Ali wrote about, if you know how to read the tribal language.
Yeah. They just like to debate. That's all I see. Well,
No,
they're not believing you.
no, some of them have the right intentions, but
Okay. Okay.
you can have the right intentions and still be being misled without knowing it,
Hmm. It sound like
right? You don't want to,
Christianity.
remember, they tell us all the time the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Just because your intentions is good, don't mean you haven't been lied to and misled, and that you perpetuating falsehood that you have no clue that you perpetuate.
Right.
Because you believe, based on how you got it and who you got it from, that it is foundational truth.
Right. Right. I feel
Right.
you on that one. I
So
feel you.
this why I don't have a problem with all Moors. I got a
Mm-hmm.
problem with specifically dirty Moors. And if they
Mm.
go to Sister Freedom channel, um, it'll come to me the name of it in a minute. But I was on there with Taj Tariq Bey, and I asked him to describe what a dirty Moor was and what a righteous Moor was, so they'll know the difference when I'm talking about the dirty Moors versus when I'm quoting one of the righteous Moors.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be ruthless on the dirty Moor, and all the
Mm-hmm.
righteous Moors gonna be the same ruthless I am.
Yeah.
The
I've
only
been
difference
listening to you.
is, yeah, the only difference I'm growth and development. I'm one of their Hoover boys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they'll accept it coming from a righteous Moor, but they're not gonna accept it coming from what they consider an outsider. It becomes a rallying cry for war to defend the whole tribe. But they're not listening to what I'm saying compared to what they founder told him, so they can know that I'm not the enemy. I just came so that they can clean their house up.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they start waking up. I believe they are, but hopefully they do. Because I
Mm-hmm.
learned you don't just listen to one person, you listen to others. And sometimes when it comes together, and then you'll see that there's the truth. My mother always said that. You got a choice. If for the truth. But I'm saying there's three truths: your way, the other way, and the real truth. I'm not saying it correctly, but that's the way I'm seeing it right now. That's how I
Perspective.
see it.
Look,
Yeah,
you can believe something with all your heart and soul and
yeah.
be 100% wrong.
Mm,
Just because you believe it with your whole heart and soul, it's not going to make wrong turn into right.
yeah,
No matter what you do, it's not going to happen.
yeah. I feel you what you're
Right.
talking about. I feel you. I'm
In the
serious. I
church,
see that.
they have us believing that if we believe with all our heart and soul, that all our wrong is going to miraculously turn into right through some
Mm.
process
And
called
I've
being
always
saved.
been told that we
I
going to hell. If you don't do it that way, you going to hell. I don't care what
Yeah,
you
but
say.
that's, yeah. So that's the fire and brimstone evangelical damnation preachers.
Yeah, the fear ones put fear in you, so they can control you. And don't read
Mm-hmm.
no more books either. Because you're going to
Yeah.
hell that way too. That's what I've
Anybody
been
or
taught.
anything that tell you that you can only listen to one person is
Hmm.
trying to control you.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
Most people
definitely.
don't know that when they tell you, "Oh, if it ain't in the Bible, I don't believe it." That mean they under the control of the person that gave them the Bible.
Yeah, I've heard
They just
my
haven't
friends say
realized
that.
it yet. Yeah,
I'm trying to wake them up on that one. I'm serious. I have
we
a girlfriend. I love her
passed
to
that.
death.
We passed that.
Yeah.
Shock and all gonna wake them
Mm,
up.
okay. Okay. I
Shock
don't
and all
force
gonna wake them
nothing.
up.
Yeah, you can't force nothing on nobody, but the words I say, I'm just hoping she remembers, because that's my sister. I love her so much. So, so I just let her say whatever the rant she want to do. And
And listen,
yeah.
did nobody tell you that a wrongdoer that's related to you that you're not allowed to love them?
Okay.
You don't have to condone what they doing. You don't have to agree with it. That don't mean you don't love them. You just don't agree with their behavior.
Yeah.
Or the group they run with, right?
Right.
That means you can still, and you don't have to associate with people just because you love them.
That's true.
That's a big misconception. You think because somebody love you that they supposed to be in your armpit all the time. You're a slave driver. Don't even know it.
Yeah.
Right? So that means that you can have somebody that you dearly love that won't never do right, that you ain't never got to see again and feel no way bad about it because you still love them.
Yeah. I'm dealing with that now. I really am. I
That's
truly am.
life. That's part of life. And that's why people come in our life for a season. Some people get to go to duration, but everybody not going where you going. But y'all might be jumping the same bus temporarily until y'all switch directions and go in y'all separate ways.
Okay. I hear you on that part. I really do. Damn. Sometimes
this is the journey. This is the journey around the monopoly board, the plutocracy board, in the game called life, where we all come to experience some shit called emotions, because we don't have emotions when we're not in physical form.
Yeah.
Right. So when the physical form, we get to experience the emotion of the hurt and the pain and the misery, and we also get to feel and then we also get to experience the flip side, the conquest, the victory, the wealth, the plenty, right? And sometimes it's better to take the hard part first so you could say the best for last and cruise on home in style. Right?
And that is to love yourself. That's what I'm saying. Because I done did all that cruising with that hatred and all that shit that come with the mess. Oh, and I don't want to do it no more. I just leave them behind. Miss me with that one. I ain't got no time for it. For real though. For real.
So did I answer all your questions, sweetie?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe you did. I just need to look up in the records to see what I can work out. And can I ask one more question? I hope I know I'm on here long and I'll give somebody a chance. My last name, I always wanted to understand my last name. My last name, is my dad. Well, of course. How'd I say that? It's
I don't know what all of them mean, but if I know what it means, I shall tell you.
Okay, Wyatt. What does that? It just says something in white because the people call me White or Watts. So I'm like,
Wyatt is it's a derived name from the word white.
Oh, okay.
It's a pronunciation drawl of the deep south, and people couldn't pronounce it and they couldn't spell it because we wasn't English speaking people. So white became white.
Okay. They also call me Watts too, but okay. You said white. Okay.
Yeah, those ones Watts, California is named after the Skywalker clans.
Okay, that's
Skywalker
nice.
clans, those the ones who were responsible to call forth the thunder and the lightning. Today, in modern times, we call them treetop Pyrus, or we call them sea walking crips, crooked man walking.
Yeah, I see your videos. Love
right. That's the modern version of those ancient tribes. So the more they sea walking, if the energy out of balance, you're gonna have a thunderstorm there, lightning storm.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Yep. I'm keeping up with that Tupac. I love him. I cried when I heard he died. But now I'm seeing other stuff. It's like, hey, okay, Oak
Look,
Town. All right,
Pac
we
wrote the
see you.
realest shit he ever wrote in Hard to Find.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You remember that song?
Which,
We Ain't Hard to Find?
yeah, I believe so. Right now, I can't know the names, but I probably have to listen to it because I
Listen to what
listen to a
he
lot of his.
said. This is what
Okay.
Tupac said. He said, heard a rumor I died, murdered in cold blood, dramatized. Pictures and being my final stages. You know, mama cried. That shit was fiction. Some coward got the story twisted. Like I no longer existed, mysteriously missing.
Okay, I have to listen to it again. But I love him anyway. He got so many
Look,
songs.
then he
I
got
didn't
one
even
say, you
know.
can't see me. And if you
Uh-huh.
can't see me, he said, I'll be right before your very eyes, but you won't even realize that you can't
Mm-hmm.
see me.
Uh,
So when I tell people he was at the All Eyes premiere with Shock G, they doing sign
uh-huh.
language and ain't nobody catching it. And he right before their very eyes and they don't even realize
What you
they can't see
say.
him.
What you say.
He
That's all right. That's
used
all right.
Hollywood makeup to make him look different when he's going in front of the camera.
Okay. They can do that now. We see that.
Yeah.
Biden.
Now keep in mind, everybody in Hollywood and everybody in Hollywood loved Tupac. The
Mm.
makeup people loved him. The script writers loved him. The stunt men loved him.
Hmm.
Just like he used to go walk around the hood, he used to walk around the movie set and speak to somebody called a key grip. Who the
Uh-huh.
fuck is the key grip? What's his
Yeah.
job? But
Yeah,
it
what
come
the hell?
up in the credits on the screen, the key grip name is up there. But
Oh.
Tupac wanted to meet the whole entourage that was making the film. He didn't just want to meet the other actors and the producer and the director. He wanted
Oh, I remember
to
seeing a
meet the
video.
guy that worked in the coat rack while they
Mm,
making the movie. What made you get this job? Where you from? His
mm,
curiosity was like that about people. And
to see that.
because he was coming straight from a genuine place, they feel a heart connection and never forget him because of it. And it makes their life have a very powerful, colorful memory, which is how you give power to one of the gods when they're in human form,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
So they want to hear your story so you can hit them in the heart chakra with that struggle you've been through so they can give the love back in exchange for your suffering in the heart chakra exchange.
Oh, all right.
So do healing people in basic conversation just by listening to them with an open heart and for no cause, just because you're
Mm-hmm.
there,
Oh, okay.
right? Some people are
Mm-hmm.
quick to tell you their story in order to just like confessing to a priest.
Yeah, I feel
But
like
then
sometimes
some
we're under
people,
spell
so yeah,
doing
but
that.
then some people, if you ask their story, they become defensive and it's because they ain't all good.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
know their
That
story,
makes
you get to
sense.
find out they dirt just like you find out the dirt they went through.
Mm-hmm. The lies have come out. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm. That makes sense. That makes sense. Damn. Okay. All right then. I'm so glad I spoke to you.
Okay, sweetie. I'm gonna let you
All
drop
right.
down and I'm gonna take somebody else, okay?
All right then, right.
No sisters, I had to take all dudes.
I know. I remember. How are you?
How
Thank you so much.
you doing, sweetie?
Good. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. You
Good.
have
Good.
beautiful glow.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess I blame it on put it on motherhood. So recently, just got inducted to the best hood, the motherhood. So I'm gonna put it on that. Yep.
Yeah, that's the energy when you first feel that, you got it all under control. You seeing your babies laying there peacefully sleeping. You look over there, your hubby, he full sleep, farting in the bed. You know, you look around
Absolutely.
the house, cleaning all done, and then you realize that you got
Yeah.
this. I'm mama now.
Yes. Absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
energy shift for a woman, that's when she really glow like you glowing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
That's
much.
that feng shui of the spirit.
Hmm.
That's the highest expression of divine feminine is the when we can call her mother and she walking in that energy. That's how you can go in there with enough food to feed 2 people, but when you get done cooking it, you feed a house of 12
Yeah.
and have leftovers.
Absolutely. From
That's
nothing.
when that the love in the food, soul
Mm-hmm.
food.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. My grandmother always said, she told me when a woman gives birth, death passes by a bed 3 times, And I didn't understand that and I gave birth naturally. And I didn't understand it until I was giving birth and after everything and went through it. I was like, okay, I get grasping my own concept of that. You really do, you transform and morph into something great, from the whole process of birthing the baby, birthing the placenta, the after process, and then still coming down from the hormones of postpartum and all. It's really something to experience, and I'm thankful that I'm able to experience and am experiencing that. Absolutely.
She said death passed by your bed 3 times before you give birth.
Hmm.
And you know what she talking about?
No, can you please elaborate?
The child, as it grows from a zygote to an embryo, it goes through 3 death phases. It's part of its transition. So when it go through each one of them at the trimester,
Hmm.
right? But some women is 7 month carriers, some 10 month carriers. Those are the 9 month babies,
I was
and some is
48
12 month
months today.
carriers,
Okay. Okay.
right? The 12 month carriers, they normally old souls, and the time when women used to carry babies for 12 months is when they first start having boys, but they will automatically have a girl with them.
Mm.
And so that's why they had 2 teats, because when they chose to start producing the males, they would automatically birth from a twin sister, right? And the twin sister job used to be to teach him how to live in this world.
Mm.
And if you pay attention to a fraternal twin set, it's a boy and a girl. The girl gonna always be leading her brother around, even if he was born first.
Mm.
She'd be literally holding his hand, because that's how the men had to be led around as the Y chromosome was assimilated into the G code or genetic code.
Wow. Wow. That's beautiful. So okay. Like I said, I understand, now I understand more in depth.
I'm good. How you
You
been?
glowing with all these women glowing tonight? What y'all got going on?
Out peace to
Looking like
Oshun.
Oshun daughter
That's
herself.
why I said peace to Oshun. Like she been working wonders in my life. Just the everything about it. You happy too?
Yeah, I can't be helped but be happy seeing y'all glowing like this.
Yeah. I did the land bank today. I had a course with NACA and just going over the fact that our ancestors did leave us land. It's up to y'all to do the work and track your family lane back because our ancestors did leave us land.
Look,
And just to go back and get it.
even if they didn't, sweetie, I'm gonna tell you a secret. They left us a method to seize the whole land of the earth.
Speak about it.
That's part of the redemption process.
Okay.
And that's what Empress Redbird is exercising her blood right. to draw the matriarchs together and raise the matriarchal government back up to its original position so that these legal fictions can be done away with. And the matriarch's first order of business is food, clothing, and shelter for everybody.
Facts.
So
I'm
it's
thinking.
happening in real time, and that's part of what the public noticed that this Q&A following is the alert that you about to start telling the military it's time to roll this shit out because we're running out of time to prepare for our celebration next year.
Okay. So I got a real thing that's happening right now. I have been having the wildest dreams. I was in a dream and I met somebody and I said, "Yo, I'm dreaming. You dreaming?" She said, "Yeah, I'm dreaming." I'm like, "Yo, can you meet me in real life here? This is my Instagram name. This is everything." I met a person that I was dreaming with in real life. Explain it. Because my mind is still blown and I feel crazy telling people, and so does she.
Okay, so y'all first got to have a sympathetic link. That means a common point of interest that ties y'all together. Y'all have to be working on a similar issue.
We are.
One of y'all start making progress, the other one is looking for assistance. The energy flow under the mitochondrial resonance will match the seeker with the finder.
Okay.
So it's a form of telepathy. It's group dreaming. The women used to do it regularly to solve problems. That's why they are
And
always more
we
advanced
both
than the
do have a
men.
common problem.
Right. So in the one of y'all got this, or y'all might both have a different part of the coin that solves the problem.
Okay.
So it's like your bestie from 15 lifetimes ago said, "Meet me at the close of the age." And you had your piece to the heart, and I'm gonna have my piece to the heart, and that's gonna make us have to come together because we can't read it unless we match them.
Okay. This is crazy to me. Well, I got to stop saying crazy because in this paradigm, nothing's crazy anymore. It just blew my mind because I'm not, as much people like, "Oh, I dream, I dream." I'm not a dreamer. Everybody has dreams, but half the time you don't remember them. This dream, it was like it was real. And I'm standing next to her and I'm like, "I'm dreaming." She was like, "So am I." And I'm like, "Yo, where?" I'm like, "I'm from Jersey." She was like, "So am I." And I'm like, "Yo, can you meet me here?" I was like, "Yo, if this is real, we're going to be able to remember this and we'll meet up with each other." And since then, we have met up with each other. And we have literally, it's like we live the same exact life. And it's the craziest thing I've ever experienced. And it also lets me know that we are now in a time that we've never been in before. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want to think, whatever you want to be, you can be it. You can, as long as you think it, all
Is
that's
she
left for you to do is pull it out of your mind. This
is
is
she a daughter of Oshun too?
yes, yes, yes.
Listen, do an Oshun offering bowl.
Okay, what do I need?
Anything that Oshun would like. She like yellow
Yellow.
corn.
Oh, okay.
She like papaya, pineapple. Um, most of the stuff, the fruits and vegetables that's yellow and orange, um,
Okay.
it's all used as offerings to Oshun.
Okay. Do I,
All
so
right.
I need
Now,
that.
listen, chop it up in the bowl.
Okay.
You and her sit across from each other, face to face,
Okay.
and y'all present the offering bowl to Oshun. One of y'all got to be the priestess, and one of y'all have to be the parishioner.
One priest, one parishioner.
Right.
Okay.
And put y'all palms together like y'all holding hands up like this,
Mm-hmm.
interlock y'all fingers,
Okay.
and then ask Oshun Why did y'all agree to meet at this time?
Okay. And I know she gonna tell me.
She
I have
gonna give y'all an answer.
I have a really
That way you
good
don't
relationship.
have to get it from me.
I'm all for it because you want to know what? I want to thank you for like I don't know how many of the family actually will DM Rod. He might not get back to you right away, but he'll get back to you a long time ago. I want to say like last year. I'm like, yeah, you got to tell me the story of Lilith. You got to tell me. And you sent me a video because it was like she kept talking to me and it was like she was very prevalent in me. So, and it was like she kept coming to me in dreams and telling me like, yo, they got it wrong. That's not me. That's the wrong story. And to actually see what it is and see how she correlates to all these different movies and texts and everything that's been playing out, to realize she is the divine woman that was hushed, that they tried to trick to have sex with a golem, and she wouldn't do that because that went against our humanity. And to see the difference between like people who are androids and real humans, it like actually put it into play for me. Thank you, because you started all of that. You started all of that. No, my last question, and I'm gonna let somebody else get on. The distractions between the Diddy saga and what's really going on in the world, as far as them unlocking the gate at CERN, as far as them finding eight, as far as them thinning the veil to unlock the veil between like dimensions. Is all of that tying into each other? And how does that correlate to us rising as a people?
So Diddy had a function to perform, right?
Okay.
The chain reaction of the Diddy investigation is going to bring to the forefront the dirty deeds of some very powerful people. So the freak off parties was to prove by video evidence the dirt that was being done at the freak off parties.
Mm-hmm.
Diddy just so happened to be in the position to be a host to these parties,
Mm-hmm.
right? His job was to hold on to Clive Davis no matter what happened. Weather the storm. Hold on to Clive Davis because he behind Whitney, he behind Bobby Christina, he behind Aaliyah, he behind Phyllis Hyman, he behind all of those people you see him in the pictures with that he worked with that ended up broken, destitute, or dead by his call. He ain't getting away. And did he have to hold on to the bear till we figure out how to bring him to his ruin? Yep.
Okay.
He was behind Aretha, right? Trying to exploit her as a child. Good thing she had her daddy there to fend
Yeah.
his, yeah, because OCL didn't play about Aretha.
Yeah.
Aretha was one of the highest ranks matriarchs, is why her funeral was done the way it was done.
Absolutely.
She was the queen. But we don't know that because we don't remember who people are in our culture and we accept the foreigner's culture to override ours. So we couldn't even recognize her for who she was while she was here. All we
Okay,
could do is,
brother, speaking of foreigners' culture, I am so mad at African people. Have you heard about us going over there being unalive because they don't look at us as African?
we ain't.
And them getting upset at us and say, oh, don't say you're going to African hair braiders, just say you just find out where they're from and find out their name and everything. And like, yo, so we are not African Americans. We're not anything African because Africans have made it very clear that we can't come back over there like that, and we're not African.
Well, we weren't never from over there.
But do you realize? the void that's leaving in a lot of people's places, especially probably some people? It's 158 people watching this right now. That's probably leaving a void that they identify as African American because that's what we've been identifying as.
Thank Jesse Jackson for that. That was his brain fart.
I didn't know that. So what? So we're indigenous people.
Yes, we. I only indigenous is not accurate enough. Native is not accurate enough.
Right. So what are we?
Organic to the land, sovereigns of the earth.
Organic to the land, sovereign to the earth. Okay.
That's what we are. The land that you and I are sovereign to is called Turtle Island.
True. Iroquois tribe. Are any of us part of them? Because we helped draft the Constitution that was to enslave us. So how did we allow that to happen?
Their constitution didn't enslave us. It's the theft and the rewriting of their constitution. And then the switch out with a secondary constitution written in
Okay.
the blood of Crispus Attucus in
Where
the
can I
American
find that
Revolution.
book? I can't find anything on Crispus Attucus. Where can I look to find about Crispus Attucus? I have looked everywhere.
Inbox me and I'll send you some information on Crispus Attucus.
Okay, I will. I'm excited about
But
that.
if you go to the George Washington Masonic Memorial webpage and you look at the U.S. Constitution, it's going to look like it's written in rusty ink.
Okay.
That's blood.
So
That's
George.
dried blood of Crispus Attucus. They
Okay, and then
could
isn't that
never,
over?
right, yeah, that ended July the 4th, 2019.
Okay.
July the 6th, I answered because none of the other chiefs answered.
Because they in jail.
Well, it's other chiefs on the land that could have answered that got the blood and the right, just like me. It's
Okay.
just that they didn't, apparently they didn't know what to do. Or they didn't know the signal to look for.
Okay.
But it don't mean they got less of a right to reclaim the land than I do. It just means that I knew what to do at the right time to make sure that we were successful. And the ones who didn't know, they still doing their work, which is going to be to their benefit.
Okay. Got
I'm
it.
just the one who seen the sign and then acted up on it.
Got it.
Right. And because I acted up on it, they surrendered the foundational allodial title that they drew up when they first started to seize the land to Empress
Okay.
Rarebird 13 days later. That's Queen Mother Seals.
Okay.
On the 19th, Sacred Seal.
Okay.
July is 7. I'm number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Then question. Okay, so my chief was Assada, who was Empress Redbird to me.
Okay, so Assada is an advisor to Empress Rarebird.
Okay.
Assada will be coming home with full state recognition and a whole fucking parade
So my chief
down the
still is
New
Assada.
Jersey Turnpike. We gonna shut that bitch down when she
And
get
I'm
here.
gonna be there. What? I know.
So all of the girls with the afros that call themselves Black Girl Magic, them her girls.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm gonna be there. I can't wait. That's my
Yeah.
chief. Shout out to
Angela
Assada.
Davis is a priestess of Assada. Um, um, what's the lady
Mm-hmm.
name played in the movies? What's my girl name? Pam Grier.
And prayer.
She is the priestess of Assada.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's my chief. And I'm so
Shaka
happy she coming
Khan.
home.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's a priestess of Assada. So all of them use the system of magic that's tied to Assada as the one who is the primary target of the enemy.
Okay.
So
Where does the
they
other
can
lady
flip her
play in? Where does the
messages
other
to
lady
the
play in, brother? The other lady that be spilling Jaguar Wright, where does she play in? She been spilling all the tea, and nobody say nothing about this chick. Jaguar be spilling all the tea. Is the tea hot or is the tea like, okay, that's something for show? Because nobody ever checked this lady. Nobody ever say nothing. Jaguar Wright and the other little crazy boy, they be talking all that mess, and nobody ever say nothing about
You
them.
talking about Orlando Brown?
Yes, you know exactly the crazy boy. Yeah. Are they
Listen,
are they telling the truth or are they agents and distractions?
uh, okay, so Jaguar, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what a Jaguar is, right?
Yes.
It's called a panther.
Yes. Black Panther. And they work with the Black Panthers too.
Right,
So
listen,
she says.
totem animal, Jaguar. Tribal affiliation, totem.
Mm-hmm.
Homonym by sound, but spelt different, right? Her
Mm-hmm.
name tell us who she is, but the only way to know if she is doing, well, the priest work, right?
Jaguar's right.
She have to be telling the truth, raw, brutal, and as vicious and vile as she can. The reason why it gotta be vicious and vile, because to our people, we gossip hustlers.
Mm-hmm. The
So,
grapevine.
so when we hear her, it sounds like she giving us the juicy tea, but she actually giving us unadulterated evidence, proof, verification, information that comes out later. When she say it, you don't see it, but once she said it, you can't unhear it. So then when you see it, she already said it. Now you like, hold up, who is this chick? Now she named other people that she was working with. One of them was a guy go by the name of Gene Deal.
She waiting on him, right? That's the one she said she waiting on, right? To give her
Listen,
the evidence.
listen. Gene Deal said once she named him, you looking at the conclusion of a Tupac conjure, we already won. Cat Williams' second his second project was called Catpocalypse,
Yes.
right? Because the cat that he's mimicking is Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
And Tupac's first album was Tupacalypse Now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's Cat Williams is the second, because his second project is Catpocalypse.
Uh-huh.
It's a relay race. I'm
Yes.
picking up the
The
baton.
Joker starts. Jaguar is running with it. Like, yo, so who's
Jaguar
gonna
Wright also mentioned Cat
he
Williams
did
in the same interview she mentioned Gene Deal.
he did. Just
She also said that she got information directly from Kim Porter, but she ain't ready to release it yet. Kim Porter
mhm.
had the juicy tea.
Kim Porter was about to drop that book.
That book ain't had nothing that was that incriminating in it, and that's why they uh, took her out the picture. I don't think she did
Mm. Really? Mm. Why not?
because she had her cause of death is speculative. The way that
Very,
they describe it is
very
unclear.
much.
So she just laid there and just died for no reason, with no cause of death.
Very,
It
very
just
much
don't make
so.
sense.
I'm not the only one that thinks that. So you might have something there. I'm with you. I got to do some research. I got to do the gematria on her name. I'm gonna find out. Very much so. There's so much. Okay, and then I know. Do anybody else want to get on? Because I can ask brother for questions forever. Because our next question is about the weather. Okay, this weather Is Mother Nature letting us? Is Mother letting us know that the ice age is over and she not playing with us? Because I thought the days of darkness were gonna be for all of us. However, Texas is getting hit. Texas is getting thrown every which way but loose. There are tornadoes, hurricanes. It is Jersey, and we are in our 80s and 90s. I believe the ice age is over. The Dead Sea is not that like the Barren Sea, like where the Dead Sea and everything is, and it's like dry and everything. There is green. There's water there. Are we experiencing the flip right now? And how long before it's like it's fully in effect? Because right now people are kind of like, oh, it's the end of the days. I don't believe the days are going to end. But are we at the beginning, middle, or are we still in the hardship phase of what's going on?
We moving into abundance. First off, the weather anomalies that we see in greenery popping up in Saudi Arabia, popping up in dry places in the southwestern America, the desert regions being flooded.
Yes.
Back in January, the core of the earth stopped and reversed its spin. The reason it happened is because the planet ship Nibiru is close enough in orbit to affect the core of the earth. But because of they normally cause disaster when they come through. Because they only come through every 3,600 years,
Okay.
right? This time they not allowed to let Nibiru flip the crust of the earth. That means they have to change their orbit to affect Earth core because they can't change their total orbit, but they can change certain patterns in the orbit for them to cause the least amount of disruption to other civilizations.
What about Apophis though? Apophis will be making its appearance under our satellites by the year 2039. And if it goes through the keyhole, it's going to wipe out Cali and everything over there. What's going on? Do you know anything about Apophis right now?
Yeah, Apophis comes on the trail of the Nibiru.
Okay.
It's 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 in the tail. That's why it's always looking like it's chasing the eagle, or that it's in the eagle's foot.
Pause. Okay. Keep talking. Keep talking. Keep talking. I got to get my book. Because you just. Yes, brother. Oh my God. He just
So in Egyptian lore, for those I know what she's talking about, Apophis is the chaos demon that Osiris fights as he travels throughout the galaxies on his great boat. He had to have a spearman at the front of the boat, which is called the bow, and one at the rear in order that Apophis raised his dragon head, they can smite him. This is symbolized in the earth languages, the symbol of the eagle holding the serpent in its talons, right? That's Apophis on the heels of earth
OMG. Just
as it's
talking.
in its geomagnetic shape is the eagle. It's the eagle, but you can't see the face of the
And I
eagle.
circled it too. You just solved this for me. I'm going to DM you something that is crazy. If y'all don't have this book by Manly P. Hall called The Secret Teachings of All Time, y'all need to get it. It is like the quintessential, like,
That's
I
the
want to call it the.
one where the picture I was telling you I was translating on that video, reading science in real time. That picture in that book you holding.
Which, okay.
It's the picture of the old man sitting on the throne.
I got it. It's a lot of old men. Is it in the beginning or the end?
It's in. It's one of the pictures. The
What's the
picture
name?
should
You
be
know
in
the
the
name of it? You know the
section by
name of
itself.
You know the name of it?
Uh,
Because I got
Melchizedek.
Mount Chisedek. I got a lot of Mount Melchizedek stuff in here. Yo, like everything that's in this book is reading like it's creepy. It's creepy. And if nobody has this book, it's an old book. I'm not sure if you can get this copy. It's by Manly P. Hall. It's called The Secret Teachings of All Time. The new one looks all
Secret
fluffy,
teachers of all
of
ages.
all ages. Sorry. It's got like everything on it. I'm trying to see. Because when you were saying it, I was looking at it. Because I had to find it. Because at that time, you literally said it and I was able to pull it up. But everything that's
Show us the
going.
picture you went to go pull up.
Oh, okay. So in this book, the pictures, it literally tells you at what times what happens. So I have been breaking this down for a minute. So this is the point of axis of the earth. So this is the point of axis of the earth. Is how we spin and where we are. I'm gonna show it to you guys again. So this, if we're in alignment and everything is all right, you'll be going like this. You see, I wrote notes there because some other weird stuff is happening. I put like point of man. That's the point of man. So what Rod just literally told me about what's about to happen with Apophis and the fact that it's the tail that chases the dragon. Like I have been like literally everything's bookmarked and I've torn this book to pieces, so y'all gotta bear with me.
The name of the book is Secret Teachings of
Of
All
all
Ages by
ages.
Manly P. Hall.
So right now with this, it's written in Greek, so you can't catch it. But where I just highlighted, this is what they're gonna call the keyhole right here. So this line here, this is the keyhole. This is the orbit that Apophis is taking right now.
Now you know that's called the Lam symbol right there.
Yes. And that's why
If
many
you
tell
flip it upside down, it's the circle 7.
I know. And when you just said it's the dragon's tail and that's why it chases it, and it also equates to the fisher of men. When they're telling you he will return, it's a J. It's
Yeah.
making like it's the
But the
fisher
J
of men.
is the fish hook to symbolize the
Yeah, I
fishing
will make thee the
for.
fisher of men.
Yeah.
hmm
But
So when you
most
just
people don't know that the fisher of men is the mermaid,
Isis,
right?
and that goes back to Lilith and everything else. That's why I
Yeah.
told him I was like, yo, she's like, no, you need the complete story in order to get it. And then she's like, yo, track me back. Look, any woman who took her throne and kind of was saying no to what they were trying to do with men was demonized, and it was like, yo, this is not the way.
Like Medusa.
Yeah, Medusa with the snake.
Medusa is actually the story of Lilith.
It is.
Lilith was the leader of the Gorgon priestesses that the Egyptian priests sent to civilize Greece.
hmm
They were side priestesses, which comes out of the doula schools, but they know how to nurture the best nature of children that they raise. So they was sent to nurture the nature of the children of the newcomers and to give them civilization. The first school was established on the island of Crete. When they say she made people turn to stone was a metaphor that she was so gorgeous that once you seen her,
They
you was fucked
froze.
up
And
and
that's
you
what
can't even move like,
they
holy
gave you
shit,
a
she
hint.
gorgeous.
They gave you a hint. The first scene, one of the first scenes in Black Panther, when you see her, don't freeze. That was Medusa. He was going to get Medusa out of the woods from helping the children. They gotta tell you the truth. Like they gotta
And
tell you
who
the
she
truth.
turned out to be? One of the generals of the army, right?
hmm Who he wanted to marry, and she was beautiful, and he loved her. And the crazy thing about it is, they gave you an actress that was named most beautiful woman in the world.
Okay, now, once they took her from the Egyptian family tree, they put her in the Greek pantheon. They changed her name from Medusa, which is actually her rank title.
hmm
Her name was Helen.
Mm-hmm. Helen of Troy.
Right. Now, Helen was, when they say Medusa was beheaded, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is where she beheaded. Helen was the female goddess that Hellenism is named after, which is Greek culture. This is your Greek fraternities and sororities with their Greek letters,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they reminding us of the story of the beheading of Medusa. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Rome infiltrates Greece under Alexander, the son of Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
Zeus is in Sumeria is Enlil.
Yes.
His son is the usurper, the one who comes to steal the birthright of another. Why
Okay.
Alexander the Great was
Okay.
put in the royal house to take the birthright of his brother Esau and Jacob
Jacob. Okay.
by grabbing him by his heel
Okay.
as he was becoming the king or being born into his rulership.
Grab him by his heel as he's become. This sounds familiar.
And the book is telling you that when Esau and Jacob was in the womb, they wrestled. And Esau came out first, but Jacob grabbed Esau by the heel to steal his birthright.
Okay, so it's the War of Brothers. We always been taught the same three stories. It's the War of Brothers. It's always that story between the brothers, whether you're watching cartoons or anything, and that's gonna always be. Are we gonna still be in that time loop of the fighting
This
brothers?
is the breaking of that.
Okay.
So, in order to break that generational curse that came from Enki and Enlil's feud in ancient Samaria, when we get to the close of the age, somebody got to have an opportunity to go to war with his brother and choose to love his brother through the trauma.
Okay. Now, do we see that right now with the America-China war that's about to take place that they're slowly brewing?
Remember, I told you scare tactics to keep you in a perpetual
Yeah,
state of fear.
propaganda.
So, as soon as you see these National Guard troops, you're going to think we at war with China. So you can panic.
Mm-hmm.
Don't panic.
I'm
They,
not.
this is the predictive programming to cause the panic when the organic people of the land send the national military to remove brass from police stations and judges off benches,
Okay.
right? The people need to be aware of that. We have to get rid of the people that's oppressing the people if we ever want to be free.
Very true.
So we use what they use to oppress us, and we sick them on the oppressive regime and make them take their own self out.
But
But that's not our problem. That's their problem to clean up,
but how
right?
are they going to clean up when right now they're making us choose
Ain't
truth?
none of them motherfuckers real. It's 3 Trumps. It's about 9 Joe Bidens.
Cut it out. Yes,
It's
very
about 6
true.
Obamas. It's about 4 Michelle. Why they need all these lookalikes? What the fuck is they doing?
Yeah, that part. As far as the skinwalkers, the people who they are now wearing other people's skin. How so? My
Those
biggest
are
thing.
agents. They using that's the newest technology of espionage to put on a skin mask in order to not be recognized by facial recognition.
How do we, as people, as ordinary people, recognize them? Because normally, if they talk to you, you can ask them the three questions and they have to answer. Like, what is your purpose here? What is your business here? They have to answer, and what is your name? Like that. That's
That's
naturally.
saying
Let's
that
say,
applies to psychic self-defense as well.
okay,
You are, as a sovereign being, anybody that come to break your bubble, and you ask them Who are you? What do you want? And who sent you? They obligated by universal law to tell you the truth, whether they want to or not. Soon
Facts.
as they try to lie, you gonna know it. And you know how the sisters is. Don't you prep your lips to tell me that goddamn lie you about to tell me.
Sisters, we got this. Ladies, we got this. Because we not playing with nobody. Like,
Y'all,
yeah, exactly. Who
you
sent
have
you?
to learn to read energy. The
I have seen
women,
the wildest things.
yeah. Look, you have senses that they told you to ignore. That gives you your greatest ability to see the frauds.
Okay.
Why do you think they told you to ignore it? They must be the ones committing the fraud.
Facts. Okay. So I feel like Black women have been under attack for a very long time. And
Ever since Linda,
And I do want to tell fellas right now, all this, what does a woman bring to the table? Oh, she's a gold digger. Oh, this. I just want to put it out there right now for any man that's watching this. A woman is a multiplier in a mirror. So if you see a gold digger, that's what you are. If you see chaos, that's what you are. Because whatever you give a woman, she's going to multiply it and give it back to you. That's all we are.
see, that's the problem right there. You're going to multiply and give it
Period.
back. And and most of these guys can't take the shit they dish out, let alone take it multiplied in return. That's that's not my fault. That's
Period.
why I don't. That's why I don't feel about women the way these other guys feel about women.
Because I've known you forever. You ain't never been sorry, Instagram, no pussy hungry nigga. Nobody like, oh, well, let me see you naked. Or what's going, like, yo, you are a positive force. You're a teacher, you're a provider, and you're always there. If you are in your right place as a man, you're a provider, you're a protector, you are here. And you're going to do whatever you can, when you can, how you can, and you're going to tell somebody that's not on their right path, no, then it's no problem. If you see women as nothing but opportunists, that is because that is what you are. And when you get with somebody and you're not sitting on your square, you're not in your right position, they are now mirroring you. Whatever you give, the woman is going to multiply it. So, like that's the oldest teaching. You give a woman a house, she's going to give you a home. You give her a seed, she's going to give you a baby. You give her some food, she's going to give you a whole meal. She's going to multiply it. So stop listening to these memes and these different, oh, what do you bring to the table? Woman don't bring nothing to the table but herself because that's all she needed. Because she can create more people and everything else. It could just be her.
But
She meet a guy, she
listen,
going to get a whole bunch of other
it
people.
don't matter what a woman bring to the table if the table she bringing it to have an incompetent workman on the other side.
That part. And it's going to be
It don't
multiplied.
matter whatever she bring to the table, I can work with it.
So see, look, now you're here. Now, what they have as women bringing to the table are your sexy reds, your Sukianas, your bad girls club, all of these different agents working. How, as a woman, do I work to make sure that my kids, the younger girls who listen to me, they like them? How do I make myself not be a hater?
Let me tell you a secret.
And that's what I need to know. Let's go, brother.
Those girls like them as entertainment, but they watch you for interpretation. If because they like her don't make you act like her, they gonna act like you act. And they're gonna perceive her as, oh, she's a good artist and she's not the kind of person I would like to be. Right?
Okay.
And as long as you walking in that glow you walking in, they will rather have that than the spotlight of Hollywood.
I don't know, brother. They willing to like with everything
Look,
that we're telling them, they still on it.
they do that as a peer group entertainment phenomenon, something that the peer group does. But to role model, they go. gonna try to role model where they see the greatest amount of feminine expression of beauty. When they see you, they ain't thinking about no goddamn sexy red. No,
No.
not the sexy red,
It's
but
still
that's a knock
hard.
the sexy red shit.
It's still
Because
hard.
when you the grace betrays the noble character.
Okay. And then next question. Palestine. With them killing all the babies and them being like, is that our fight as black people? Is that our fight? Should we be like, oh my God, save Palestine? Because I don't feel anything. And it's bad, and it's horrible, and it's genocide, and
Wait,
it's messed
wait,
up.
wait. I see what's going on over there too.
Okay.
The only time I speak on that bullshit is when it's related to us over here.
That's what I need to know. Is it related to us over here?
Only as reading energy signatures of the fall of the system.
I figured that because I don't have any like, oh my God, I gotta go out. We gotta do something. I don't.
Okay, what you watching play out over there is a raging cancer in the body,
Okay.
right? So the symptom is going to cause the surgeon to have to go in and extract the core of the cancer in order to heal the entire body.
Okay.
This was performed in warrants from the International Court of Criminal Justice and for war crimes against the upper tier of the government over there that's ordering these slaughters.
Okay.
Right.
So the slaughters
Right.
are ordered.
But all that is a sensationalized drama designed to make us stop reclaiming our land and watch that fairy tale play out over there of somebody who think God chose them above all nations of the earth to give them some dirt in the Middle East on top of some oil.
Very true.
If God would have chose them people like he chose us, they would have been organic to somewhere on the planet. Think about that for a minute. When we say that our ancestors chose us, it's different from they God chose them. They God had to go in and murder a whole nation of people in order to give his people something. Our God just made us grow up from the land. We from here.
But that's the thing. A lot of us don't know that.
It don't matter. Enough of us do, and the right ones that need to know in order to effectuate the change, they are aware and active.
Facts. The 144.
So you see me, but you also see Yaki Awaken.
Same thing.
You also
You
see
see me?
Seven Bomar. You also see Red Pill, Blue Pill.
Yes.
You also then don't forget we still got elders that's active,
Yes.
right? And they all telling the same thing now. Do we the organic people came to come back for what's ours? And we know what y'all did. We know who did it, when they did it, how they did it, where it was concocted at, who concocted it, how many was in the room. When they laid that dirt out, we know who rolled out the dirt, who played the left hand, who played the right hand, who played that shitty motherfucker in the middle. We know it all
I want to
because
say
they
that
left
that
the
broke my heart
records.
though. That broke my heart though. In decoding that and finding out that, like, when I always said they, I always picture white people. That broke my heart. And then it
You
also broke my heart even more to know that Noble Jew Ali, in those pictures he left, I'm so thankful to him that he was able to leave those pictures in very few writings, but in those pictures and those writings, you knew that somebody was out here fighting for you, where they kind of was trying to show you, and it just took for you to have the knowledge. Now, my question is this, because I've seen Jay-Z and Beyonce put these images in their music, like the video Ape Shit. When they were in that weird ass museum, they're like, yo, why are they showing us this? Is this them telling us our history because they have to, or telling us that they kind of stole it? Like, what part does that play in?
look, 444. I got the keys. I'm black. I'm going ape shit like a nigga in Paris. Now, the nigga in Paris is the ones who signed what's known today as the Treaty of Peace and Friendship.
That's how we got the statue.
These are the motherfucking sellouts. What none of them from over here that was signing that document. So now these niggas in Paris is going ape shit. They erected the tower because that's where I fell at the hands of the Dirty Moors. They sent us the Statue of Liberty, the drag queen,
I said the Statue of Liberty, the
the
Union
drag
Drag.
queen, to let us know that it was a drag race against drag queens across the land, masquerading as the matriarchs, pretending to be our government.
With the wigs and everything.
This is
Yeah.
the March of the Mares. A mare is a female horse.
Make the
So
statue.
why is all these men sitting their testicles in Big Mama's seat in the town? Think about that for a minute. It's a drag
And
race.
I thought that when they made, who was Bruce? Because Bruce turned woman when he was facing that trial. When he was about to go to jail for murder, all of a sudden you turned into a woman. Remember he got into the car accident and all of a sudden you're the chick. Like, it's weird. Oh,
Listen,
shoot. Hold on, brother.
help her out. I think I can let somebody else in. Yeah, so the drag race across the land, chasing the drag queen. The men dressed up to be women are the men who sits in the seat of the mayor, because the mayor is the mother of the town, and the mother of the town has a clerk that is her spokesman who just so happens to be her counterpart, or what we would call husband. But in the formalities of common government, this would just be a person she hired to read into the public domain her edicts for the allocation of resources, what's available, how can we make it available, what can the people do, you know what I'm saying, or what do they need help with in their community. We know these people that do that. Send these people to go give these people help. It's because all of the big mamas is connected. Grapevine, right? So, um, Mia, 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 Mia. Yes. So that's that Statue of Liberty.
Up, where I left off at, you were speaking about the flip about how I'm from Oxford, North Carolina, and you were right down the street from Oxford, Michigan.
Mhm.
Um, so what I left off at was that how I entered. My parents had me very, very young. My mother was 12 and my father was 16. So my grandma did all the raising, right? And a lot of how I came up and how I was brought up in a small town. I think no more than like 4,000 people, if that. Um, you grew up with your cousins, and your cousins lived down the street, and and all that good stuff from the country. But a lot of stuff that was taught to me and that was instilled in me from my grandmother was passed down from her mother and her mother's mother and all that good stuff. But as I sit back and I look at what's taking place, and how literally I've chosen to be incarnated in these times that we're in, and putting the pieces together, and listening to great teachers as yourself and Blue Pill and Yaki and my good brother B Dale and a couple of others, just putting things together for myself. I often find myself trying to take what's being said and rewrite it in a way to where it can be, I guess, decoded for the people back at home. Because when I go back home with this, it's like, what is she talking about? What's going on? But the bloodline is so deep there and so rich there, that it's like a yearn for me to want to show them and want to tell them what's going on. Um, I guess so. My question would be, being that we're ushering in this matriarch energy, and for the people from the small towns, like as myself, or the people that seem quote unquote small, even though I know there's many of us here everywhere. What is the best way, or in what way should I continue to go about carrying out the mission?
Well, it depends on your skill set, right? What was you already doing? Because when you get drafted to do this spiritual work, the life that you live in is either training you for it, or it's the path you walking on your spiritual journey unfolding is the life you live,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you have a particular set of skills, those skills, like I know how to read codes.
Mm-hmm.
So the tribes need me to read the codes so I can tell everybody what's going on behind the scenes based on the codes I'm reading,
Mm-hmm.
right? You might have a different skill.
Teaching. Love.
So
I love. Yeah.
remember, the teacher's job is to free the child's mind to see the future they want to live.
Right.
So you can spend time with children, teaching them to see bigger than the life around them, because life is bigger, and the bigger life is, the more beautiful it glows.
Mm-hmm.
You teach them about the gold in their heart, those things that make you feel warm and fuzzy. Keep
Mm-hmm.
doing that shit because it's making that gold in your heart grow. You tell the children the stuff that make you smile real big, that's what you want to do more of to make that gold in your heart grow.
Right.
The stuff that make you feel bad that you did it, that's slowing down that gold from growing that's in your heart, right? And by exercising the golden rule, treating people how you want to be treated, then you don't build up the negative energy, and you begin to see life as a beautiful opportunity to experience this 3D reality before you go back into the non-feeling spirit realm,
Mm-hmm.
right? It teaches them to free their mind. When you tell a child they can do anything, you got to give them examples of what you mean,
Right. Absolutely.
right? And we gonna be, when the matriarchy fully online, we gonna be doing resort schools for people that homeschool to come in and learn how to use certain psychic abilities for gifted children, and they all gifted.
Mm.
You just got to find out and teach them how to tap into their psychic strength, which is
Right.
like teaching an X-Man how to control his superpower.
Hmm. Agree. I agree. Uh, just thinking about what you're saying, my grandma used to always tell me, you can do anything, that you put your mind to. And everything that I touched, literally, I, grew up doing basketball, track, volleyball. I played 7 different instruments. I read music, just different avenues of, you know, her pushing me to express and find my, different ways. Applying it now to my adulthood and listening to what you're saying, it is that warm, fuzzy feeling that you can attest that, just seeing people having that aha moment that, oh, I get it now, or especially seeing it in children where they already know, You just have to remind them of what they already know, what they're already coming into, you know. I feel like, it's purpose in how I came up and where I've can't come up from. Especially, I'm still trying to figure out and learn, my whereabouts of where I came from, as far as being from North Carolina and deep rooted there. But just wanting to make sure that, I feel like the bloodline is in my hands, and just to be able to touch and reach everybody possible.
So it's stuff you can do community wise to like go to all the different churches and have a meeting and gather all of the different churches church mothers together.
Mm,
That's a matriarchal powerhouse unit waiting to be used by the matriarch.
mm,
So all they have to do is select one as their senior representative
mm-hmm.
to be put on the database and tell them what our resources are, what y'all need in y'all area, stuff like that. This next phase, when it come online, is going to be about food, clothing, and shelter.
Okay.
It's going to be about freeing political prisoners held by the corporate fiction. It's going to be the chief speaking to the masses to tell us that we was once out of control under the control of a foreign agency, but now we have regained control of the land and our resources.
Absolutely.
And we came back for everything they owe, and it just so happened they owed us everything.
Mm-hmm. So, going into the church, right? Because I was too raised in the church, you know, bringing that subject up about, I guess where we come from, how we came about, and all that good stuff. You kind of touch on the aspect of Christianity. You know, a lot of the church mamas, they ain't gonna want to hear that. About the whole what Christianity really is and all that good stuff.
You don't have.
So,
That's not the point of bringing them
right,
together, though.
right,
You're not bringing them together to argue Christian ideology.
right.
They can still believe what they want to believe,
Mm-hmm.
but you just asking them to be part of the matriarchal community that's in charge of getting resources to the people in your community. That's it. They can still hold on to their limiting beliefs as long as they believe in doing community work,
Right. Mm-hmm.
right? Or as a church mother, fulfilling her church mother functions of picking people in her church to do community work according to what the interest of their church is. Some churches might want to have youth leagues
Mm-hmm.
where they do things with the youth, but another church might want to run food banks,
Right.
right? Another church might want to set up housing for homeless people and displaced mothers. You see, but whatever they pick, they just trying to put a team together that can handle the resources getting to the people without the people being exploited.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I didn't think about it like that. As far as going back to my roots and how what I know, what I was raised off of. Going back
Mm-hmm.
to the familiarity of things and starting from there. I get so passionate though when it's time to start talking about like the truth, because what I really want is for everybody to be liberated, even though I know everybody can't go. Um, it's just still one of those things. It's like I want y'all to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like I really want y'all to get it so bad, so bad.
So when all this over, one of the things I'm gonna be doing from my house is sending for all my relatives to come in small groups.
Hmm.
But when they get there, um, I'm gonna have like my mother's sisters
Mm-hmm.
and brothers gonna each have a book at my house. When their children come,
Mm-hmm.
they get to fill in the family tree for that line, who they is, the children they had, the children that their children had,
Yeah.
right? So once I put all this together, then when we get down to newborn babies, I'm gonna duplicate it, and then all of the people in the book gonna get copies
Hmm.
of all of the books,
Right.
not just the one, right? And that way they know who is who in the family,
Mm-hmm.
where they at, if they want to have a family gathering, how to contact everybody, right? But that's just, somebody else might have a different aspiration.
Right.
They might only want to deal with their grandmama's sister kids because they the only ones they like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So that's just a different tribe with a different structure. Right. So they'll go hang out with them, but they would do something similar,
Mm-hmm.
according to their wishes.
Right. Right. That's one thing I will always do. Like my grandmother now, she's 82, and she just stopped working fully about 2 months ago. So she's been working, strength, real strong strength. And one thing I'll always do, even from a little girl all the way up until now, I always be like, Grandma, tell me when, so and so, so and so. Grandma, how did y'all come up? And she has enlightened me from her mother and three mothers down past before her, and just the different ways of what we knew, and different ways of how traditionally what we've been taught, and I pass that down now to my daughter, like you're mentioning, leaving that book behind for her as well. So yes, sir, I
Mhm.
thank you so much.
Yeah. That's um, it- all of those things is just reconstituting the tribes using modern understanding of society applied to ancient stuff we used to do. So Big Mama always had a book that she used before we had Bibles. They started writing them in the Bibles. But before that, Big Mama always kept a record of the time, the date, and the year that the child was born because she can go there and plot out his astrology chart, and then she know how to teach him to prepare for an obstacle in his life.
Mm,
Oh, I need to get this baby for a couple of weeks because he got this thing coming up.
right,
Right.
right.
She done got so good at astrology over doing this with so many, she could just look at the birth dates now and
Mm-hmm.
know what the stellar alignment is for that child and how best to help him navigate his future life obstacle so he can be successful in assimilating life lessons and applying them to his life as he grows. Different big mamas got different customs.
Right.
Some was palm
Mm-hmm.
readers. They call all the babies in and read their palms, right? Some was tarot readers. Some was cowrie shell readers, right? But they use them to always help the child navigate a difficult life process by having them pre-informed of what this could be coming up and how to adjust. So it's like having your own personal life strategist. That's why
Mm-hmm.
Big Mama get to know all her kids, even down to the great great grands, because she need to know which child she need to spend time with to prepare him for spiritual combat.
Right.
But it don't
Right.
look like that in the physical. It look like she just called in to have you bring the baby to see Big Mama.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, go on, girl, I keep it for the weekend for you.
Mm-hmm.
All the time she, putting protection energy on her, probably get the baby massages, whispering commands in her ear so she'll know When you face the demon, face him with no fear, stuff like that. Look, my man, France, Fanon, right,
Mm-hmm.
wrote in one of his books, I think it was Thick Face Black Heart. He said, "Long gone are the days where the mothers, the young mothers, would sing the songs of liberation in the ears of the child, so that the child can become the standing army of the next generation. Oh, bring back the mothers who sings the songs of liberation in the ears of the babes."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Go, boy, he cutting up over here." That was talking about returning to matriarchy,
Right.
getting
Absolutely.
from mothers saying my son bad to my child got a lot of energy. He a real boy.
Yes. Absolutely.
If you keep telling
Absolutely.
the child he bad, then he's going to meet your expectations of bad actions because you've programmed him to perform them well.
Absolutely. I say that a lot, especially with everybody. So she's so nosy. She's so no. She's observant. She's taking in information of her surroundings so that she can know, how to dissect and be able to, have her own sense of mind. I'm just here to give her the tools. She already knows what she needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So you teach him a sense of self when you tell him when you see the world, see yourself as the center because
Mm-hmm.
you're the center of your own world. That means that you control it in layers away from you until you control the whole world. But you start with self first.
Right.
Be the change you want to
Mm-hmm.
see.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. I truly appreciate it. And then thank you again for allowing me to come back on.
You're welcome. I knew we had some technical difficulties, so
I like I said, I feel like I'm speaking for the small intricate people who's, been placed throughout. You know, we have a lot to say.
look,
It's especially
it's a lot we can do, but to tell you the truth, I don't really focus on it because most of us is too lazy to do it. Or if we got the ambition to do it, we too overwhelmed and occupied with our current day-to-day life. We can't find a way to get it done,
hmm
right? Which is more than the lazy.
yeah.
There's more people that swamped with their life that can't help, but they want to help so bad, right? I accept that energy and I perform the function I'm performing. So the least amount of people is needed for the success of the total venture.
hmm
As you need more people, you gradually start building and reaching out, and more people will come according to the awakening and the process that's taking place, right? So now we at the part where the matriarchy is in power. The government is seated, right? But
hmm
it's not fully seated. Mothers, clan mothers across the land need to make a network connection of clan mothers across the land,
Right.
right? That was the purpose of the original public service announcement earlier. And by connecting them, they solidifying the power of the matriarchs. And once we got every state represented sufficiently, then they can roll out resources into the community. But then we'll see that National Guard presence and other things playing out as they making the alliance. We watching the corporation crumble as they gain in strength and power.
hmm
And the best way to do it is to link as many um, together as possible. And Empress Redbird gave the call last week for the clan mothers to begin to reach out. And we don't want to debate doctrine or philosophical differences. All we want is the clan mothers to agree to the great law and to make a connection across the land so that we can effectively enforce the great law from a tribal perspective as opposed to a military presence of a foreign agent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely. I was once told, again from my grandmother, she said that once all the women's cycles started syncing together, that the world was changing. And lately, I can attest from not only friends, I've asked a few, co-workers, a lot of women's cycles have been, sinking, as far as some been saying that it's been doing something a little iffy, where it's been, coming on earlier, staying longer. Um, and then on top of that, I was taught how to, read the weather for what it is, how to, go outside and smell water in the air, and how to be able to, just be in tune with what's going on outside and the inside, so that you can be aware of the actual change that's approaching. So in a test of that, just being in alignment with all the mothers of the land, to get ready to, I feel like women are kind of bracing themselves right now for something that's great, even the ones that don't even understand what's going on. I honestly feel that, this change that's already here, but it's getting stronger. And sooner or later, we're not going to have no choice but to acknowledge what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's coming fast.
Yes.
So the reason why their misses will sink is this. The elder women that's doing the spiritual work are like Tesla coils of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they meet a group of sisters on that same frequency, they sync.
Mm-hmm.
They call it the syncing of the Sibyls is what it's called. The syncing of the Sibyls ties them into the prefrontal lobe of the collective unconscious egregore. It's the driver's seat of humanity. They become the conscience of humanity. And
Okay.
as the elder mothers sync, which means tie into one another, then the up and coming mothers begin to sync with the elder mothers by proximity. So she was giving you a great sign of the returning rise of the matriarchy when all of the women's menses sync. But the thing is, for a period of time while they all synced, none of them are going to get pregnant.
Hmm.
It's a spiritual working that's taking place, and that energy will not facilitate a zygote being able to go to the first trimester. And so most of them will never know if they got pregnant during that period because they're going to spontaneously abort because all of the uteruses is doing what we call genetic cleaning of itself in order to facilitate the new codes of the next DNA program of the species known as humans.
Wow.
So when they sync up, they correcting all of the DNA errors. The mitochondria been scanning the whole time, all DNA. So when they sync, they know how to correct the problem because you got so many scientists and doctors that's had eyes on so many parts of the body that's going to be synced in the same frequency that they'll automatically put the answer together to the problem. This is why they were always utilized in Atlantis, because once they sync, they can solve any
Hmm.
problem because they in every walk of life.
Right.
So now they can draw from every walk of life to bear upon a single problem. And it gives them so much overwhelming information to solve the problem that it is simple.
So it's like we're helping Earth shed, helping her shed,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Okay. Right.
So we facilitators of the process they call evolution, but the Darwinian model is just the wrong interpretation of the model of evolution. the women's mitochondria will upgrade the codes that's on the codons of the DNA. And when she does that, the species of hominids change.
Mm.
Our bodies begin to look different. Our physiology begin to take a new form. So we don't look like Neanderthals or Cro-Magnon man. We look like modern man, right? Which is distinctly different from any other australoids they've excavated to this point. Because the mothers, we live out a certain period of time under a set code. This is why the future is wrote in advance as the history.
Mm-hmm.
So Elijah Muhammad say every 24,000 years, the 24 scientists convene to write the history of the next cycle.
Right.
So they always write history in advance because they lay the script out, then you play the script out. You can't play the script out if there's no script to play. And
Mm-hmm.
then
Right.
everybody write their book of life and contribute to the script in order to give it substance. Right? So when you look around in the world, you're seeing all of these people are seeing everything we looking at from a different angle than we seeing it. How many people can you count? That's how many different directions can be bared upon one topic.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now,
Right.
when you use your holographic memory, you able to see the world from everybody's perspective that you see looking at the same thing. So
Mm-hmm.
now you can see what everybody else see, and then you can add it to what you already see. You have more information for decision making than you would if we would have only relied on what you see
Right.
alone. That's the only reason why we read, to learn different perspectives, and it's weightlifting for the brain. It's
Mm-hmm.
physical fitness for the brain.
Hmm.
Otherwise, we wouldn't need it,
Right. Right.
right? So it's exercise for intelligence to become more intelligent, and it allows us to use the holographic paradigm in order to see every problem from so many angles that we automatically got to find the solution. Because we already know
Right.
that the solution to the problem is always in the problem itself. It's just
Mm-hmm.
how you look at it that determine if you could see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, sweetie, it's been good talking to you. I thank
Yes,
you for
sir.
coming up and gracing us with your beautiful presence.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me once again, and thank you for everything that you do and how you just serve. You serve all of us, and you serve the purpose. So I thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetie. All right, I'm gonna let somebody else come up now, okay?
Alrighty, peace.
I'll bring my sister out, the high priestess, see what she doing. Christina, you better not be then left. Shit, I think Instagram stopped me from taking up guests. Let me look up here and see what this is. Okay, she wasn't there. Damon Dim 2050, what up, Chief? You right, Drakeru. Dr. Ka Haru. Yeah, breaking out of the illusion. Okay, I got one more person there I can invite up. And if this one don't work, I'm gonna bid y'all adieu for the day. And Mac Man 144. Look, that stuff so scattered. You just have to read everything you can about the 105 facts about the American Indian. I think is a good one. Um, it's a book called, I think it's called When the Indians Were Black or something like that. It's a lot of books. I put a lot of references all through my posts up and down my page. Some of my posts is just book references. Those are down further in the post where it's just got a lot of good books. But if you want a good resource, go to YouTube and check out Karimu Ahu on YouTube, and he got the books. He be reading them to show you what he's saying, and he got video upon video, hundreds of hours of him reading the academic materials that verify almost all the stuff that we be talking about. We just using it in real time to roll out the new government, and we at the grand finale now. So it should take only a couple more weeks for this shit to play out, but I can't tell you what it's gonna look like or how we gonna get notified. I knew that one of the things is that those CIA assets that was news reporters will be replaced by truthers. Yeah. Okay. I got one. Somebody just popped up. The last three people I tried to let in didn't come in, but this is a new person, so this they probably got tired of waiting and left the show. But Blue,
What's good? What's good?
mm,
So,
what's going on with you? Might as well chop the game up. You the last one. When I hang out with you, I'm going to sleep.
no doubt. I just wanted to pay my respects. I've been watching for a minute. I never really got a chance to request because I always catch you like on YouTube and all that. But somehow this time I got the notification that you was live today.
Yeah. So, what you think? You've been watching the work we've been doing?
Definitely, definitely been watching you for a few years now. Definitely been sending the links to people who I know will receive the information, who I would hope to receive the information. So I had a couple women that I know who've been planning on having children, like sign up to your services. Then you got like a doula services and all of that. So I appreciate that. Because we kind of need help in that area. And then all of the information about all the alignments that's been going on. Just staying tuned in. Just staying tuned in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a lot of stuff going on, especially with the solar radiation from the solar storms. That's where all
Right.
of the data coming in for the source codes.
Right. I noticed it's a lot of like it's been a shift. I noticed like specifically since the pandemic, it's been a shift, and I feel like that's like um I remember like even before the pandemic, I felt like a shift, but I felt like the pandemic was a big frequency change. Like a lot of things began to change during that time, and I felt like the pandemic was kind of like the quote unquote like what they call the pandemic was kind of like a distraction for the fact that there was a lot of new downloads coming, and they wanted to distract certain people, but I don't even think it worked because people who needed to transition, people who needed to upgrade it during that time.
Well, that's one of the reasons why everything was shut down. When everything was shut down, people got bored, and people who didn't normally look at like social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram started looking at it,
Right?
right? And now, while people like me, Vidal, Yaki Awaken, Brother Kalai, while we are talking about what we're talking about, it's forcing people that wouldn't have normally looked at their social media to see us popping up in their feed now. And
That's a fact.
then,
I used to post a lot, like prior to the pandemic, and then like with the pandemic happening, I started to slow down on posting and like dove a little deep into the information that was out there, even though I was already tapped into information prior to that. But like during the pandemic, it kind of like forced me to like really do way more research. I started to go from like reading like 14 books a year to like 40 books a year. I was able to like tap in a little more deeper during that time.
Yeah, it's because everything is quiet. Look, when the witching hour happens at night, that's the quietest time of the night, between 3 a.m. and 4 or 5 a.m. But the witching hour is from 3 to 6. But during that period, your psychic energy, when you harnessed it and you've been exercising your aura, is so powerful. You can make stuff happen and it look like magic, but it's science,
Do you think that
spirit
uh,
science.
you think that the time zones matter when it comes to that? Like if somebody on the West Coast compared to somebody on the East Coast, specific timing, Eastern Standard Time.
In the time zone, it just changes when you do your ritual in relation to somebody in New York, if you in LA.
Okay.
But harnessing the energy is universal. You can harness energy wherever you at in the known or unknown universe. It's just have you trained yourself to be strong enough to use the energy that you harness. Because if you're not strong enough, you won't be able to harness enough in order for you to use it to effect.
Type. A random question that just came to mind. Like, what you think about like tantra and like healing with your partner? Like, if I'm a man, I want to heal with my woman, or the other way around. A woman wants to heal with her man, tantrically.
You mean like tantric sex?
Yeah, tantric sex, or maybe even like just Reiki, like without having like sexual intercourse.
Well, when you feel like you one with your old lady, it's so much shit y'all can do together to produce effect in the world. The manifestation that they call the secret, right? When you got a female and a male, y'all two batteries going in a remote control. You got you could create a circuit. You cycle the psychic impression through the circuit by counting the circuit itself. You have to use your imagination and visualize in your mind that whatever it is you trying to bring into reality is in this loop, right? How you make the loop. You sit, if you can, sit in lotus position. But if you can't, you can sit in a chair. If because some guys' knees from being athletic, especially in this era, a lot of our knees is bad. We can't sit in lotus position, but we could sit on a chair or a cushion, right? She said, you penetrate, then you take your tongue and put it in the roof of her mouth. You just made the circuit complete, right? And you, she's the one who's the manifester. You the one have to hold the focus in the now. Because whatever y'all agreed upon, she's cycling it through the circuit, right? You use something simple as a tester. You write on a piece of paper something simple. I'm gonna find a $5 bill, but this $5 bill gonna have 222 in the serial number, and it's gonna be so obvious I won't be able to miss it. Right? Now, once you write that down, that's what she's circulating in her mind. She's seeing the $5 bill and she's seeing the 222 on the serial number. right? She don't have to see the rest of the serial number, just the 222. This is just how it's going to get your attention, because how she see it is going to draw out to you in real life, right? So now that y'all have something, when you finally find the $5 that got your attention with the 222 on it, you can mark the time y'all done the act and the time you found the $5. That's called your turnaround time. Now, remember, the turnaround time changes the bigger the object you trying to manifest. And you have to take steps in the physical world toward the manifestation you're trying to produce. Right? If you're trying to manifest a house, but you keep looking for apartments, you're working against yourself. But if you're trying to manifest a house, look at the house that you would be able to live in without ever wanting to go anywhere, as long as you was with her. Maybe we could do everything right here in the house. We ain't got to fuck with the outside world. It don't mean that y'all not gonna fuck with the outside world. It means that the level of peace and comfort that the environment you're looking for gives you, make it where it's not necessary for you to ever leave the house to experience that peace and that solitude and that love energy.
Okay. So like pretty much you could start off with something as simple as a $5 bill, work up to a house, maybe even like work on things like healing from childhood trauma, you know, pretty much kind of like not like making sex look organized, but kind of taking a little more serious and just pleasure. Meaning like maybe before y'all do things, y'all
The
have
pleasure is the key.
okay.
The pleasure is the key. That's the unlocking of the spiritual energy into the physical world. Because that's why you think you feel the pleasure, because it's activating the body. The body already in the physical. You trying to transfer spiritual energy into the physical realm. You trapping it in the pleasure.
Okay, so pretty much
Enjoy the
we
fuck
already
out
halfway
that
there.
shit. Listen, enjoy the fuck out that shit while y'all stroking. Both of y'all. Right? The more you enjoy it, the more powerful it is when you use it for manifestation. Practice makes perfect. Remember that.
Okay. So we already halfway there. We just gotta point that pleasure into the right direction, is what you're saying.
Yeah. The $5 is what you call a controlled experiment. The reason why you only pick the $5 because it's the easier for the universe to get it to you. Get it? So
I
it's
got
your test run. It's your frame of reference for how it works and how long it takes. But it don't have to be that. You could put it whatever you want. You can make it be a red ball with a thumbtack in whatever. But it
no.
got to be something that when you see it, it is pronounced and it's something small, right? The reason you want something small, because spirit can move little things faster than it can big things, because it has to move more things into an alignment for the big thing than it do for the little thing to align. So you could be walking out the house to go to the store, and the dude at the store is cashing the lottery ticket and drop a $5 bill with 222 on it. You just so happen to walk into the store after he done left and been gone. You don't see no other customers in there. You like, oh look, a $5 bill. Reach down, pick it up. Damn, 222. You didn't know he was leaving you a $5 bill with 222 on it. Spirit was moving the $5 bill and seeing where you was on your way to the store, it had 222 on it, so it knocked it out his hand when he was putting his money in his pocket, and all the rest of his notes is fully intact. That's how spirit use that energy is easier that way. So now you got a frame of reference, right? So then you become a physicist. You can calculate a 2 gram note or 1 gram $5 note and multiply how many grams go into this house I'm looking at. How long did it take for that note to get here? Multiply that by how many times that note fit into the fit into the weight of the building, and that's what you do. But remember, it'll reduce by double each day as long as you stay the course of trying to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish.
No doubt.
Yeah. So every day you can do one thing even if you take a glass of water and pour it on a plant in the backyard as a physical representation of your efforts. Because you moving spiritual energy into the physical world, it requires you to do some physical movement so that you can open up the energy vortex for spirit to activate into the physical realm or to do work in the physical realm. So you're creating an energy vortex from source to physical world in order to facilitate change in the environment to give you a perfect alignment in all your steps. This was part of teaching the child how to create their best life a long time ago. Now the adults have to get the information so we can get it to the babies. They used to already know it because they used to be taught it as a baby. So it was easier to relay it to the youth. Now it's more difficult because most of the adults don't know it no more. So now we got to go on a campaign of educating adults so that they can liberate the children, so they can liberate our future. Because I don't care what you think, our children going to go way further in the future than we going to go. Most of us. The lucky ones. Because don't nobody want their child to leave before them.
That's a fact. Well, I got another question, another random question that just came to mind, and I do got like I might have a 16 for you if you don't mind me spitting for you.
Man, you know, that's my thing.
All right, but let me ask the question first, because I'm from New York City, and I noticed like there's a lot of like people who dropping the knowledge from New York City. Like, what's the special thing about New York City? We got like Brother Rich, we had Brother Panic, rest in peace. We got A. Rashid, Bobby Hemming used to go there all the time, C. Free Manel, what's the OG? We got Eileen Bay, we got it's a whole bunch of people from New York City that's dropping the knowledge, and like I just feel like it's something just different about New York City. Like what's so special about New York City? We got Infundishi, so many people came through New York City that was dropping the knowledge.
Ain't New York called the Empire State?
Definitely.
Who's the empire?
The empire. I guess the emperor is the emperor, like the rulers. Head.
You got to be somebody empire in order for that state to belong to the empire. They tell
You mean
you in the name.
like a specific person who actually was the emperor?
Look, they tell you in the name of the city. What's the name of the city?
New York City.
New York City. What's the name of the state?
New York.
That's an echo. It's reinforcing that New York is New York, and it is the Empire State. The Dutch was doing business with the tribes in New Yorkshire, but back then it was called New Amsterdam. But when they signed treaties, they changed the name from New Amsterdam to New Yorkshire. Then it became New York. But it was the first place that the chiefs got tricked out of a large plot of land by settlers with trinkets. They never intended to sell the land. This is the ODB Wu-Tang grievance. Shinnecock Nation of organic peoples to the land. So the reason so many people had to come to New York, it was ground zero for the false doctrines to be pushed into the communities. Remember, music doesn't change without the Harlem Renaissance, right? Stage shows don't take hold without Apollo, right? Um, diamond traders can't diamond trade without Manhattan because they got to keep the diamonds in the hat. And when somebody wants the diamonds out the hat, you always pull out a trick, a rabbit. Because tricks are for kids, right? So the hat is Manhattan of the Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter is the man with the top hat.
Mm-hmm.
The man with the top hat is the man in the black suit standing at the crossroads, waiting to bring judgment on the enemy to his people. This is not only do the knowledge spring out of New York, breakdancing, which is dance combat to relay a message without actual bloody war. To keep with the contract edict, they use dance instead of combat to tell the secret out of New York. Father God Allah, Clarence 13X, affectionately known as Puddin', put into the public domain out of, I think, Brooklyn, the 120 degrees of the 5% nation of gods and earths. The 120 degrees, I think they gave it out in 19 lessons, I think, or was it 21? I don't remember the number. But these was all elders that was trying to unravel the conjure of the settlers that usurped New York. When you go back, Arthur Schomburg was the largest collection of historical works in relation to melanated peoples around the world, which gave us the Schomburg Library and Museum in New York, which became the capital for everybody that wanted to excavate our history and find out what happened, because we was coming out of this amnesia. So you see a parade of elders marching through New York, and the Schomburg Library was a mecca for anybody that was working on the problem, which is the liberation of the original people for Turtle Island. The roadblock was the transatlantic slave trade, which was a side rail, what they call a collateral attack. The sensationalism of the numbers that came in the transatlantic slave trade to the mainland is used to cloud the vision of the ones that's waking up from the slumber, and they won't be able to remember that they was already here. But they gonna take the narrative that they came from somewhere else, and then they're gonna build a confraternity. So the UNIA, right? function. The confraternity's purpose is to find out from the people in Africa if you from Africa or not, right? The people in Africa also was usurped just like us. So when we go and investigate, we find there's two groups of Africans that identify us differently, right? They just dropped the, this is the 5% science. I'm gonna pin it if I can. Just the 5% science.
I peep Supreme Math 1 to 10, 114, 136, 140, 12 joules, actual facts, solar facts, 120 degrees mass.
Yeah. So all of these things, now out of these assignments right here that he's naming, you get Rakim Allah, you get KRS-One, you get LL Cool J, you get Jay-Z, you get Brother J from X-Clan, and the rest of them all started studying at 5%ers. Whether they joined or not, I'm not sure, but all of them was into the studies of the 5% nation of the gods and earths. Right? Brand Nubian, almost all of the groups that came out in early New York they came out speaking the lingo of the nation of gods and earths to the public in the original rap songs. Like Rakim's first song, My Melody, is loaded with 5% science and lingo. Right? But we don't know if we don't study the tribes from New York, because this is going to show us why all of these people was coming there. This is the epicenter of activity for our awakening, because it's one of the first places that we were sacked. Right? Also, the Delaware Indians, first state incorporated. Right? Also, the Virginias, where Big Mama called us all to war from to go fight the Gullah Wars in Florida. So you see different function or different activity take place in those areas. But it's all something that's tied to us putting the puzzle back together as to who we are. Right? Nikki Barnes from North Carolina. Frank Lucas from North Carolina. Bumpy Johnson, I think, from North Carolina. They all Gullah. They all went to New York and got rich using what the slave master allowed them to get rich on. We wasn't allowed into their business world. They was murdering us for it. So we had to come up with our own business models. So then they banned them and made them illegal. The government making stuff illegal to turn what we already doing to make money into a crime so they can punish us for trying to get out of poverty. Systematic, organized efforts to keep us down.
No doubt. So it sounds like New York is definitely like a big part of the shift. Is, you know, as much as other states, as much as other territories. But yeah, I'm gonna give that 16 before we get up out of here. And if you motivated and inspired to get something back, I don't mind. All right. Hopefully,
I'm a little too tired right now.
I
But I'm gonna listen to you though.
all right. So niggas think because they vegan and they meditate, their problems gonna be solved. They don't tell you once you start healing all your problems, they revolve. They evolve to that new nigga, you trying to become more money, more problems. How much problems do you want? Pick your poison. Once you clear your mind, it gets noisy. The universe is mental. Do you think you got choices? Everybody hear voices. Who listen to the right one? Matter of fact, who listen to dog? Cause ain't no wrong. Nah, who the fuck do we listen to in this environment? Old folks telling you the enemy is hiring. Young niggas hustling. Young bitches lining them. Dotted line their souls, hoping somebody signing them. But they don't see the signs though. We blind far as the mind go. I don't believe in time. I can thrive at any time zone. It's all frequency. You know that you a god, right? Let's call it spade a spade. You just gotta play your cards right. Acting like an animal, but think you humane. It's the same thing. Can you master each plane? God, you complete all the parts. Arm, leg, arm, head, Allah. There's more than 7 chakras. You think that you tapped in because you know the seed sounds and hum sacred black hymns. Lam, vam, ram, yam, ham, am, om. You want peace in this world, but there's war at your home. My mom's is my pops when my pops wasn't home. And he was never there. She did it on her own. Immaculate conception, 9th child out 11. As above, so below. You in hell, this is heaven. Can't nobody teach you. You reach it if you're ready. Ain't no such thing as a secret. They won't do it if you tell them. Information, knowledge, wisdom ain't the same. You ain't a real play. You just talk a good game. Information, knowledge, and wisdom ain't the same. You hate school but expect your kids to love it. That's insane. Black man, black woman, white dreams. It's European to call a bitch a queen. Hold on. I know that went over your medulla. A king is a king. Fuck the gender of the ruler. Money over bitches. Definition of misogyny. Believing you're the body. You'll be suffering till you out of it. You either thinking natural or you think logical. You programmed by the system or your ancestors guiding you. Either way, I'm proud of you.
That's it, lit. Look, when I get ready to do my music project, man, you gonna want you in on that shit.
Say less. Say less. I
Yes, you
stopped because I could have kept going. But I didn't want to take up too much time. But this bar shit is what I do.
look. What these niggas know about a life in the pen, making love to your wife with a pen. But in the end, you can't keep a chick with a letter. Sport coat, reading your letters, dick in the better, decreasing your cheddar. First sign is over, but don't fret, nigga. It's time to be a soldier. On a small or big yard, take out your aggression. Resort to hard shit for a lack of affection. Ain't no protection from religious philosophers here. The first warning, predators feed on fear. I'm in my own zone. Shit, niggas keeping me stressing. I'm by my bunk late night, mama praying for blessings. Been gone too long, locked dead in the cell. Wait a minute. I've been gone too long, locked in the cell, doing hard ass time. These niggas sick as hell. 2 niggas got shanked last week in holy war. They claim to be religious, niggas rotten to the core. Well, sure you got some with a golden tongue, speaking redemption all the time, but their souls is numb. They got me cooking orange juice cause I need a drink. I caught the chronic on the yard, I need the weed to think. Hoping to release me for the streets to roam with freedom from stress, nigga. I'm in my own zone.
Let's go. Good looks. That you wrote that when you was locked up?
Yeah.
Tight. How
No,
much time?
actually, I wrote that when I got out because I was saying these niggas is throwing rocks at the penitentiary. They don't even know about the life in the pen, making love with your wife in the pen. You know what I mean? They don't know about that shit. They out here taking penitentiary chances, and they don't know what they facing when they get in there.
They're making
Predators
love with your wife.
feed on fear. When you go in there and you show your first sign of fear, you done. They like ravenous hyenas on your ass when they find out you scared. They finna Diddy your ass up.
But that's when you tapped in though, right? That's when you started to like read more heavily and started to tap all the way in, right?
I was look. I had caught my case. I was 17, right? I had been working on this shit since I was a little boy because I couldn't figure out what was wrong. Why I wasn't born into the same life of privilege that I normally am born into. And by the time I was like 6, I knew we had lost the war and got conquered, and that I had to figure out exactly what's the steps to get us back where I can have that life I normally am born into, and it's the redemption process. As a crown prince, my I have to figure out certain stuff so that I can find the pieces to the puzzle to rebuild the matriarchy.
Wait,
Right?
now that you chat, and you sound really similar to the Terence Howard nigga, the way he was chatting. Like he was chatting like he remember actually coming into the womb. Like he had a dream that he woke up in his mother's womb. And I remember you saying like you remember all of that. You remember the like literally being born and everything. And that sounded really similar to Terrence Howard. I don't know if you peeped his Joe Rogan interview where he was dropping all that science, bro. What you think about all that shit he was dropping? The 1 × 1 = 2, the the linchpin stuff he was dropping, the new technology, the patents, how they stole AI and stuff from him. What you think about all that stuff he was dropping? If you tapped into that.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I seen enough of it. I didn't have no major issue with nothing he said. You know, um, 1 times 1 depend on how you read the math, right? 2. I watched a math competition on one of these university channels that used to come on cable, and all these scientists is doing this math problem on the chalkboard. 3 of them got the same answer, and one of them got a different answer, but wasn't none of the answers wrong. I
Hmm.
couldn't understand how the dude with the different answer wasn't wrong. He was the only one with the actual answer to the question they was asking that was correct. But the other 3 that came up with the same answer, in the formula, they deviated by using a different symbol, which changed the value of the equation when it comes out at the end. He chose the symbol in making the formula that made it come out to the answer they was looking for. So they knew both answers already because they knew the symbol that would be interchanged based on the mathematician's background and training. So they know it's 2 possible answers for this. If this symbol right here is changed to this symbol, the answer would be this. If it's this symbol, the answer would be that. And
Okay.
it kind of, I was like, I thought mathematics was more precise than that. But mathematics is malleable because time is malleable. And mathematics is our method to calculate the phenomena related to the time dilation. So no matter how we looking at it, it's always playing out as a conceptual physics formula. By understanding conceptual physics, you can see it as it play out from the inside as opposed to seeing it on the paper. You can see it from inside of the play out in the world around you as a conceptual physics form. It's a story being told. So now that you know how to read the conceptual physics, you can put the story together by the motion of things around you. It's reading hieroglyphics of life, what we call it.
Hmm.
And
Speaking of
this is why,
hieroglyphics, that's how I thought he was breaking down the periodic table. When Terrence Howard was breaking down the periodic table, he was like, the way they got it is all faulty, and they don't show the relationships between how certain elements are actually an extension of that element, right? Like this element is actually, I don't remember the exact elements, but he was like how carbon actually turns into nitrogen or something like that. You know, they have the same frequency, they have the same hertz,
yeah,
you know, or double hertz or whatever, so it makes it the same frequency, and like that made me think of like the different deities, right? How like we have uh you know, Aten was like how all of the deities is one, and it made it seem like that's how the periodic table is. It's like all of the elements are really one element that changes into each element, and it made me think of that. It made me think of like hieroglyphics. It made me think of like how all the religions are pointing to one thing, right? Like the way he broke down the periodic table, I'm like, he might be on to something, and if the world thought about science and math in a way that he thought about it and produced in that way, it would kind of shut down the economy, because it would make us realize how much we're infinite when it comes to resources. And the way they give us science, the way they give us math, they make it kind of limits us so that we're dependent on it, and we're counting and using it in a monetary way instead of in a infinite way.
You are absolutely correct. Math, when you learn math, it's supposed to teach you how to play chess in real life. It's supposed to teach you the principles of cause and effect to degrees, right? The information we process in as images is binary codes that's played out in the form of DNA constructs, but it's still binary coded information interface with computers. The biology of the human can interface with computers. They got an ancient computer in Tibet in the cave, and it has an interactive computer that scans your genetics, and then it tells you the part of the history of the world that you need to know for what your DNA code reads. And you can ask questions. And then they on the screen, it look like you're talking to two AI people. That they talking to you like you talking to me, but they computer generated, right? So they might scan your outfit and dress them in a similar dress that you're wearing, so that you can relate to what they're saying better. And if they can frequency talk to you on a frequency that's telepathy, where they can communicate directly into your brain by frequency that can hear you by frequency return the response.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you though, Rod Hayes. My name Big Bay Cornell, by the way.
Where you at?
Well, I'm from New York City. I don't want to drop my location though.
Oh, okay, that's cool. You ain't gotta do that. I don't want to put nobody in peril, you know.
Nah, it's all good. I ain't running for nobody or nothing, but I just like to be on the low.
But you still respecting your privacy. That's all.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely from New York City. I'm always rep that no matter where I'm at, no matter where I go. So that's all my family at right now. So
Yeah.
born in the Bronx, raised in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Where Mike Tyson from. Who else in there? MOP, Shannon Briggs. I'm really a boxing fan.
Yeah.
Zab Judah. So yeah.
Yeah. New York done put out some nice fighters over the years.
Definitely.
You know why,
They
right?
them.
Some of them dudes grew up scrapping in the streets.
That's really how it is. Like in New York City, like you gotta like you gotta know how to defend yourself walking outside. Like if you want to be outside, you want to be a homebody, you want to stay in the crib, stay in the crib. But back in the day, we chilling outside, and we just gonna test each other. That's just how it works in New York City. Like literally.
Bitch, how you gonna know who gonna grow up to be the alpha if you ain't never test yourself?
It's a fact.
Men, boys have to start establishing dominance when they hit puberty, so that they don't have to fight when they become adults.
That's a fact.
Right? And if they do have to fight, they got a support crew with them. Right? That's how you end up getting in gang fights. Because you're not finna just beat my homeboy ass like that. It's not just finna go down. And now
Nah,
while I'm here,
real
and
shit.
then he got a guy on his side They're saying the same thing to my mans. Oh, you ain't just finna beat my homeboy down,
That's a fact.
right? So we both going like we gonna break it up. Next thing you know, me and him scrapping.
For real.
And him and my other homeboy, they over there scrapping. And then before you know it, everybody out here scrapping.
And the funny shit is, as teenagers, we all fight each other, and we friends though. Like, in few weeks, we all hanging out together, and like we ain't gonna let no
It's,
other hood come and mess with us. Like the same dude we fight with, we just know we know how he get down now. Now I know he can fight, he know I can fight, and we cool now. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't really how beef was back in the day. Like we ain't really fight and you got beef because of a fight. Like I don't know how people get to know. This a different type of beef now. It's just a different type of beef now. But back then we fought and we was cool. Like a lot of the people we fought, we was cool with. Like we'd chill, smoke with them, drink with them, vibe with them, grow up with them. No, we ain't never
that's
let
how
a fight
you.
just
That's how.
separate
Now
us.
that was before they put the instigators in our community because they hired people. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. They literally put people on payroll. That when y'all get done fighting, if he one of y'all friend, his job is to soup you up to bust a cap in that
Mm,
nigga. Why you mad? They paid them to do this to us. That's why we got these Bloods and Crips killing themselves. GDs and Stones, GDs and Vice Lords, Stones and Vice Lord, because they keep sending instigators in. Whose job it is to catch us when we mad at somebody and convince us to kill them, so the system can get a 2-for-1 deal.
mm.
One nigga off the street, another nigga in the cage.
So they ain't never stopped the COINTELPRO.
No, they still got instigators that's on payroll in the community right now. The
Yeah, I
good
feel like
thing
there's a bunch of
is,
instigators online too with all of the every time you see somebody dropping information, next thing you know, they videos down, they in jail. It's like, what's going on?
yeah,
So I feel like they got
that's
COINTELPRO in a lot of the online intellectual communities.
yeah. The COINTELPRO evolved. They split up in the factions. You had the ones responsible, the police and the conscious book crew. These was all the brothers in the 90s and early 2000s that was telling you what books to read to get the information out. They was being tracked through library cards and ISBN numbers at checkout registers. They got certain books that was flagged, and whoever got that book, they sent the notice because that ISBN number was active of who bought that book, and if you was part of certain groups, then they start trying to set you up for the instigators and infiltrators to come in. Right? They got another thing they was doing is like they was sending in people to hijack business in corporate America, sending in bribing union officials, the corporations bribing union officials, paying them under the table to not get the workers a good contract. It benefit the immediate person, but it don't benefit the working people that they represent, right? And they stubborn in doing their dirt because when I left GM, one of the catalysts was this: the uh, negotiating committee was under federal investigation um, for fraud, for embezzlement, for bribery, and other racketeering related crimes. They continue to pursue negotiations with the auto company while it was actively under a federal investigation and several indictments had rolled out. Now, the problem with that is this: the both both parties is supposed to come to the negotiating table with the highest expectation of propriety at the outset of negotiations. When you under federal investigation and people getting caught and indicted for corruption, they can't negotiate because they are being looked at. If they didn't arrested 10, they looking at everybody. If they looking at everybody, the appearance of propriety is tainted. So now they going to still try to negotiate the labor dispute with the corporation, which ended up taking the workers on strike. When they could have got anything they asked for if they wasn't trying to get bribes. Then they got caught. Just saying. The people I work with, they didn't understand what I was talking about. They thought I was crazy. So I had to do it a different way. I had to challenge the corporatocracy to a corporate chess game, and I whooped their ass. Checkmate in 11. And I got the receipts to prove it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
All right,
appreciate you.
man. I'm about to call it a night. I ain't gonna take no more callers.
No doubt.
So it was good talking to you, though.
Yeah, likewise, bro. I'm gonna take you up on that offer on them bars.